Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and do celebrity legal news. Also, join me for my pop culture chats. If you'd like to support the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. My Venmo and Cash App is below. Thank you so much, and let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, do pop culture chats, and this is what we're doing right now, talking about what is going on in popular culture, particularly in Black America. So let me go over what's happening today. This is not a structured live, you know, it's Friday night. Hello, 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 Ernest. Hello. And as you all are coming in, I'm gonna sit back and let a lot of you go. Make sure y'all hit that like button. It really helps me with me and the algorithm and all. But as everybody is coming in, I have done a series of videos, as you all have known, just a series of videos, just basically going over. It started off with what happened at the Essence Festival and what people were talking about at the Essence Festival. And I saw it morph into because people were talking about how the Essence Festival seemed to be Africanized. And then, just people who went and they noticed some things. And because those people had noticed some things, they got a lot of backlash, telling them that they're being intellectually lazy, that the Essence Festival was for all people. And it was run, first they were talk. Well, Susan Taylor, she was from the Caribbean, and it was run and owned by a Caribbean. It was never run by African Americans, and so had to dispel that she was the editor in chief. She wasn't the owner of the franchise, of the magazine and the corporation. Just discussing, talking about them, because again, there was one point that they were talking about how the production side of it went away. And Richard Lou Dennis did go on the Breakfast Club, and he kind of capitulated that there was some problems in regards to the production side. And they talked about the fact that Target was a sponsor, and knowing that Target had pulled their DEI initiatives. And so a lot of Black Americans were boycotting Target. They were being mindful of their spending and mindful of their advocacy. Now, let's be clear. The majority of people who go to Essence are Black women between 30 and 60 years old. There are other people who are going. Do not mishear me, but the Essence Fest has always been dubbed the aunties. The aunties are getting ready to go, and they fixing to put on their finest things and show out. Even so much so that when you're trying to bring in a newer crowd of young people, usually that newer crowd of young people are in hip hop. Not necessarily R&B, though there are some great R&B artists that are out now, and y'all go check them out. And I hate to say it, but you do have to search them out because of the fact that the way the music industry is moving, it's more difficult to find the R&B. It's not difficult to find a hip hop artist, but it is more difficult to look for R&B artists. So a lot of people are still clinging to the older R&B artists. And there's a lot of them there. So there were some production issues. He capitulated to that. And I think a lot of that had to do with the letter that Stephanie Mills had sent in regards to that, right? So that's one thing. So then we talk about Target, and they're saying, and this is what he said, that they had a multi-year deal, sponsorship deal with Target, and that they couldn't just stop Target being the sponsor. Okay. But you do see the optics of it all. It makes Black Americans look like hypocrites. It makes us look kind of funny if we're boycotting somebody and we're getting rid of their dollars. But then here you go to a festival that is primarily targeted to Black American women, and you go to that festival and Target is sitting right there. So those are just the optics, and that's the second thing that went on. So then the third thing going, because people were talking about, it just seems like, you know, it's kind of Africanized. We see a lot of more continental things going on than usually, you know, and that was talked about with the Jollof and Jambalaya cook-off. People were talking about seeing literal African beauty queens. I guess there was some that they were showing all the beauty queens from the continent. Vendors, you know, they're not talking about the snafu with the Juvia's place and promising people $200 boxes and either not having the boxes or not putting, you know, I guess people thought it was going to be the first 200 people and people were standing in line. Then it was like they were piecemealing it. And it had gotten to the point where the fire marshals had to kind of break it up because there were too many people just standing and waiting to get this makeup box. People talked about BeautyCon and the BeautyCon, and that was all part of BeautyCon. They talked about a little bit about BeautyCon, about paying certain monies and dollars, but seeing the influencers getting certain things that people who paid the money to go into BeautyCon thinking that they were going to get those types of swag bags. They talked about the influencers and who were being paid as influencers to go to Essence Fest. Some of those influencers said that there were it was a little lopsided in far as continental influencers, Caribbean influence versus Black American influencers, though that there were Black American influencers there. Because I don't want anybody to mishear me and think, oh, well, there wasn't. It's my understanding that it was. But those are just little things that people were coming out of the Essence Fest talking about. So then instead of when those things are talked about and addressed, because again, the majority of the artists that performed there were Black American artists and all that other stuff. No one is saying that they weren't. But then when people start to question about what's going on, you hear words like you're being intellectually lazy. You're being disingenuous. You don't know what you're talking about. We're here for Black women. All of these different things. These are the things that are coming out. And so then when people go on these talk shows and all this other stuff and they're talking like this. And then you start seeing the clips that come out of there. And they were asking people questions about what does this mean to you? And they were talking about, well, Essence is Black, it's Africa. You know, you had people, they had a clip of this group of women. You know, they were like, where are you from? You know, someone said, like, I guess they said that they were Nigerian. You know, they were talking about the tribes they came from. And then there was a woman, she said that I'm Black American. And they kind of gave her that kind of a look like, what the hell are you doing here? Because they was all happy about what tribe and everything that they come from. And she says where she's from, you know, she's Black by way of such and such and such. And they give her this kind of look. Then you had another young lady say that, you know, they are the originals. Another lady comes on there saying that, you know, everything that anybody is African. Nothing else. All of these little different things. And these are things are said. And these are things that are said with smiles. But no one was supposed to peep that. Now, the one thing I know about Black Americans, The one thing I know about Black Americans, we value authenticity as if it is our lifeblood. You got to be real authentic with us. You got to say what you mean and mean what you say and stand firm in the words that you speak. You can't just say something and then be like, oh, I was just being sarcastic. There's a little bit of truth coming behind that. What are you talking about? And so you got all this, we're getting all of these little different things, and all of this information is starting to pull in. So then we find out, I did a video about this. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I did a video about this, about what's going on with the Essence Fest, about, all of these little different things. So I did this video, update on Essence Fest, all skin folk and kinfolk, and went and talked about all the little different things about what went on with the Essence Fest. We did that one. And then I did this video talking about the unity for your reparations. And when I did this video, and thank you so much for Felix for pointing that out, we talked about the African Union Region 6 that started in 2013. And during that video, this was one of the this next video that I did. There was an article that I was trying to find, and I couldn't find that article. And I did this video yesterday, talking about they want to tap into the $1.7 trillion of spending. And so I did all those things because I ran down this rabbit hole. And when I ran down this rabbit hole, I found out some interesting stuff. First of all, Essence Fest is no longer owned by Black Americans, right? It hasn't been owned by Black Americans until the 2000s. And Richelieu Dennis and his corporation own it now. And they have a global mandate that they're following, that they're going to use Essence Fest to tap into the global market, or assist Africa to tap into the global market, because again, but anyway, I'm just going to say this, they're going to use that to tap in. And so we're looking like Essence Fest probably in the next few years may not be in the United States of America, because they're having a more continent leaning situation. They're wanting, it seems to me, now they can come and say that it may not be due, but from the information that I'm reading, that they are wanting to tap into the wealth of the people that's going on in Nigeria, and that they need a vehicle to do that. And Essence Fest is the vehicle, because Essence Fest yearly brings in about anywhere from $250 to $300 million for a 3-day festival. So they're looking to tap in, and the way that they can do that is to have Essence Fest be more global. Okay. So you will see a lot of different things. So it started probably in the conference hall. You're seeing a lot more Caribbean. You're seeing a lot more continental African stuff and stuff like that. So in the convention hall, and even in the topics that are being spoken about, instead of issues that are pertaining to possibly excuse me, it's talking about they're talking about issues, because usually, now I will tell you, I didn't go to this time, the Essence Fest that I've gone to, particularly when you're in the conference hall, they're talking about issues that are affecting Black Americans, Black American women, whether they're talking about voting, whether they're talking about civil rights, whether they're talking about health and your health disparaging. I remember one year they talked about medical apartheid and how Black women and dying in childbirth. They're talking about a lot of those types of issues. And these are things that we know that are affecting Black American women here in the United States of America. So they usually would talk about those types of issues. Now, I would be interested to know if anybody went and tell me what were the topics of discussion in the conference area at this time. And I would suspect it was more global. And again, there is nothing wrong with that if it's in the context of how that globalness is helping or hurting Black Americans. So basically what we see, and when we start talking about it, so when Black Americans start talking about what is going on, there's all these little different shifts that are going on. There are these different shifts going on. Now, mind you, let me be very clear. The beast that is online is something else. Something else. People will get on here, and anytime that Black Americans say something or are questioning something, people get real upset. Anytime Black Americans are talking about reparations, you have other minority groups talking about, what about us? What about us? What about us? What about our stuff? We're not talking about you. No one's saying that your issues are not valid, but we're talking about our issues. Anytime that we are wanting to talk about our issues, it has to be coupled with something else. Now, remember, there's this big push in California about reparations. There's a big push in the government talking about reparations. And it has been probably since 2010, 20. I know John Conyers has been introducing this bill in the Congress since what, 1997, 1998-ish, talking about reparations. And what you would hear from different other minority communities would be, you Black people don't need any reparations. It's so long ago. We need to move forward. We don't know why y'all keep talking about it. And so then when you start to, and it goes on like this, and nowadays they would say, oh, it's so long because, again, if you are a part of Gen Z, some of these people that I would talk about, I'm a Gen Xer, that the millennials, the early millennials will talk about, seems foreign to you. My grandmother, who was born in 1913, her grandmother was a slave. So my grandmother, that means my mother's mother, and that means her grandmother. So how many generations back is that? Is that about 5 or 6? There was a point in time when I was living, when my great grandmother was living. Great great aunts and uncles living. Thank you so much. And Aspiring Heights, I do see your comment. I've got it saved because it's going to come in a little later, but I see it. Right? So anytime we start talking about stuff as Black Americans, the gaslighting starts. When we start talking about who we are and our culture, people tell us you don't have a culture. You don't have a culture. White people will say it's Gen Z culture. Everybody else will say you just don't have a culture. Black Americans don't have a culture. Your culture is Africa. So then you have a lot of Pan-Africans who repeat that same rhetoric. And it goes over and over again. And then you start to question it like, huh? Okay. Because again, I don't have any problem with people fighting for what they believe is right. I don't have any problem with that unless it starts to intersect with who I am. I don't care. I don't have any problems with Caribbeans fighting for or wanting reparations for the treatment and the things that they had for the transatlantic slave trade. More power to them. Don't have an issue. Nobody should. Particularly, again, some people, then you have some Pan-Africans will tell Black Americans, well, it's really a Caribbean fight because the boat stopped there and then it came to you all. We are not going to play the oppression Olympics. We are intelligent enough to understand that the transatlantic slavery impacted Brazil, that's South America, impacted Central America, with Panama and all of those places. It impacted North America with Mexico, United States, and some folk in Canada. We're very clear on that. But slavery in the Caribbean, it was heinous, was different than the slavery over in Brazil, which was heinous, which was different than the slavery in Central America and Panama, which was different than the slavery that happened in Mexico, which happened in the United States as territories and then as a nation. And the same with Canada. We understand that. But when Black Americans talk about us and we talk about who we are as a culture, as a people, we get gaslit to say that that's not who we are. Let me add you to the stage, Blue. I just saw you. My what you call it is it's not on my main screen. I apologize. Here you go. But it is what it is. We are distinctive from our brethren in the Caribbean. We're distinctive from our brethren over there on the continent. We're different. We know that we are. Again, when I start talking about culture, you all say we don't have any culture. Let me explain to you. Our culture is so influential, is global, and is worldwide.
Very much so.
Gospel music, that's our culture. Rock music, that's our culture. Rhythm and blues, that's our culture. Jazz music, that's our culture. The food, the way we prepare our food, frying chicken. The Koreans learned how to fry good chicken from the servicemen that were over there during the Korean War. That's our culture. How we prepare food. The parts of the animals that were given to us that people seem to say that are unclean and all that other stuff. How we prepare that food. That's our culture. The way we dress is our culture, which is always fascinating to me. Because you can go around the world, you can go to London, you can go all these places, people dress like us. But then when you're asked, for those of you all from the Caribbean, those of you all that are from the continent, why don't you dress like you do in your home country? You look at us crazy. You dress like young Black Americans, urban Black American street culture wear. And then the nerve to turn around and say, well, we created that. Baby, they've been wearing tracksuits since the late 60s, early 70s. What are you talking about? Why are you not walking around in your native garb in London? Here in America, to those of you that immigrate, why are you not walking around all the time, walking and working and doing the things in your native garb? Why? That's your culture.
I'm just listening to you cook, Pam. It's smelling good in here. Keep cooking. Keep cooking.
I don't understand that. But then when we start talking about and questioning what's going on, you don't know what you're talking about. Then when Black Americans, because you all seem to get caught up in when people are calling themselves FBAs, you seem to be caught up when people are calling themselves ADOS, you seem to be getting caught up in those terms. You got issues and problems with Tariq Nasheed, but what are your issues and problems? Because my question is, for whatever it is you believe about him, did he go down to the Caribbean and try to overthrow or tell you all that you can't be Caribbean in your own countries? Did he go over to the continent and tell you all that you can't be who you are in your own country?
If I may add to that, Pam, another thing, the attack on the FBO or ADOS, now it seems that they want to say it's very, very divisive or it's hateful towards, and it's crazy when when Black Americans want to say, hey, we're finally touching grass, putting roots or getting to the root of maybe what's going on in our culture, and we want to be defined by a certain thing, that they get mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody, when a Jamaican says, hey, I'm Jamaican, I'm not African, there's nobody bats an eye. When a Haitian says, hey, I'm Haitian, nobody bats an eye. When a Nigerian, when a Ugandan, when whoever, you know what I'm saying, coming from these different countries, say what they are, nobody bats an eye. But as soon as we say, oh, no, we Black American, it's what? Or we don't want to be, classified as African American, because the term it can be confusing. It can be too broad. You know what I'm saying? I think, what was it? 1988 is when it was made. Jesse Jackson, right?
Jesse Jackson is a Pan-African.
Right.
So, of course, he was going to do that.
Right. So, you make that term. And even back then, the thing is, over here, we are a special breed, of enslaved African in America. We are different from Caribbean Americans. We are different. I mean, yeah, well, I guess that would be Caribbean Americans. We are different from Canadian America. We are different from British, the British Africans that were enslaved also. We're a different breed. Our slavery lasted a long, well into, and then the plans that they did coming out of that to keep us down or to hold us back or to, I would say, try to get rid of us. You know what I'm saying? We had to come up out of that.
Let me put it to this. Slavery ended in 1863. Our people in Texas didn't know about it until 1865, in which they celebrate Juneteenth.
Right.
And then after we had Reconstruction, and once they saw that the former enslaved people, and that was what, a few years, were coming up, because again, they didn't give us no land, they didn't give us no money.
Nope.
We started from the soil up. We built towns, we built all kinds of different things.
Mm-hmm.
These traitors in the South that celebrate the Confederate and all that other stuff, they got pissed off. There was a little assassinations that happened. And then before you know it, the government said, our government that turned their back on us said, well, we'll just let the South have it. So then we had to experience 100 years of Jim Crow.
Right.
Now, if you don't understand what that means that you had, it's a white supremacist thing where everything was separate and unequal.
Mm-hmm.
All those towns and things that were built by Black Americans who had come out of the enslaved people, they tore them down. They started making laws because, again, in the United States, slavery is illegal except for punishment.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of a sudden, where you had the enslaved people, now everything was against the law. If you weren't walking fast, they would arrest you and put you in jail. If
all
you were
types of silly stuff.
Exactly. If you were loitering, if you were walking, and if you had stopped to think about that, I need to go to this store or need to go this place, if they caught you, they put you in jail.
Yep.
Terminologies here in the United States say don't let the street lights catch you.
Yeah.
Because if you were found out at night, they would pick you up.
Yep. Sundown towns.
Exactly.
Still haven't no sundown.
If Black men looked a white woman in her face, they would go to jail, or they would be lynched.
Yeah, or
we were terrorized. This group, the Triple Ks,
mm-hmm.
They would terrorize people in their home. If you spoke up about anything, they would terrorize you in your home. You couldn't vote. And anybody that, even though the United States of America allowed you the right to vote, they would make laws. You'd have to pay a poll tax. You have to answer certain questions. And if you didn't pay the money, but you didn't answer the question correctly, and you could have answered the question correctly, but they told you that they didn't.
Yep.
You couldn't vote. And then they popped your butt in jail. So then with all of that and all the things that those people did for civil rights, and also let me be very, very clear. And you all talk about these towns. Well, I don't know about these towns. I don't see these towns. Baby, go over there to Lake Lanier and them bodies of water. Big body of water that you see down here in the South, you go in there and you swimming and doing all kinds of stuff. Just know, be very clear that our ancestors, Black Americans who are in there, are washed away under those towns.
You can still see some of the houses in Lake Lanier up underneath the water.
Because if they couldn't burn you out, they flooded you out.
Seneca Village, which is now New York City. The
Central Park.
Central Park in New York City.
And they always did it under the guise of conservation.
They ran 95 through it was a town outside of Miami. They ran 95 through a lot of these highways. They ran them through black cities, black towns, or black neighborhoods. Matter of fact, Philadelphia has what's called a highway to nowhere. The highway don't even go anywhere. They just did that to get rid of said neighborhood. That is crazy. But that's what Black people have to go. And that's the reason why it's so important for Black Americans to galvanize the sense of, no, I am a Black American. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I always say no disrespect to, to the Africans or whatever, but to come over and piggyback off the plight of others is a mass, it's a injustice to do so,
It's a better word than that. It's diabolical.
It's diabolical. It is diabolical. But I'm just saying it's a mass injustice because a lot will come over with the pretense of, oh no, and I keep hearing this, and I hear this from a lot of my elder brothers and sisters who say, oh, well, we all look alike, and what we look to the white man, it don't matter. We all just got to come together. True. But if we as Black Americans think we all work for a common goal, but then we're trying to get to this goal and they deviate because they had a plan from the jump when they came over here. They can't deviate from their plan. They come over here with a specific goal in mind. Yeah, I know I do look like you. We do. We all look alike. Cool. And according to the, when that white man see us, he see the same thing. That's all cool. But whatever his plan is, might not be your plan. And for the most part, isn't your plan. And if you look at what the African Union is putting out, and what all of these African ideals are putting out, the whole return to Ghana thing. I don't want to say it was a scam, what it was called, return home or homecoming in Ghana.
Well, you're being nice. I'm telling you it's a scam. I'm telling you, because this is what's happening. And you made a great point about talking about being stopped by the police. Because again, us being stopped by the police means something different, because we know that the police force here in the United States of America was built off the back of slave catchers.
Right.
And so we know that the slave catchers didn't have didn't believe that we were human. They had no humanity for us. So yes, they would shoot us, they would beat us, they would maim us, all of those different things. And that culture has passed all the way down to now. And here's the insidious part, is now that there are laws that protect the people that do it.
Yeah.
Because laws says that if a suspect turns around and they're running away, they are not considered to be a threat. You can't use high level of violence against them because they're running away. Yet you shoot them in the back.
Yep.
Yet you're arresting somebody, you put your foot on their neck. There's 5 and 6 officers that are standing around, and you continue to have the foot on the neck. You don't, and you have him in handcuffs. All you need to do now is take the other 3 or 4 of you that are there, take him and put him in the car, but you didn't. It's all on video. But your goals are different. I remember, what is this man's name? He's a sports guy. He got caught up in that scandal with Joy.
Oh, Emmanuel Acho.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He had the nerve to sit up there and say that he was the bridge between Black Americans and white Americans.
Oh yeah, was that on his show? He had the.
I don't know where he was, but just the optics of it all, just to say something like that. This is what we talk about, how just because you skin folks, you ain't kin folks. Your agenda is different from our agenda. You believe because, we come here and we get jobs and we're doing better than you. We've got monies and stuff like that. We're doing this stuff like that. And I don't understand what your problem is. See, you didn't have Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
See, you didn't have your folks having to fight for the Civil Rights Bill and the 13th and the 14th Amendment. You all are coming in on the backs of that. That was designed for the children of the enslaved people in the United States of America.
Yep.
One more again, because I know a lot of y'all want to be really stupid in the back. Those were designed for the children of the enslaved people here in the United States of America, and you have benefited. How dare you throw up in our faces, oh, we're this and we're that, and you're nothing.
Right. Yeah,
and then your agendas haven't been aligned, and you talk about, affirmative action this. Your agendas haven't been aligned. Here we are, what was it, 4.5 years ago, when that white man walked up in that nail shop and prune those women from the timeline. And everybody was talking about Asian Americans and bills and march and do all that other stuff. You do all of that. And then 3 years later, you all are sitting up there with your Asian behinds to have affirmative action dismantled because you believe that, because you've listened to those folks to tell you that we're taking your spot. What spot?
Right.
They didn't want us there, just like they don't want you there. It's the legacy people that were keeping you out.
Yeah.
And you did all of that, and you still didn't get in like you thought you was going to get in.
Because it ain't a spot for them to get in.
It was never a spot.
It's not a spot for you to get in. Not a spot at all. Best believe if we ain't got a spot, you know y'all ain't getting a spot. Ain't no spot. It's one spot and it's occupied already. That's it. That is it.
And I hope my voice is coming across clear, because I need for Black Americans to understand, you've got to get your interest back in your local, your state, and your federal politics.
Mm-hmm.
Politics are affecting you.
There you go.
Because let me tell you how it's affecting you. Let's be very clear. We're going to talk about from 1960 to 1990.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about the breakdown of the population as far as race or ethnicity, it was white people, Black people, and everybody else.
Right.
Here you start talking about in 1990, it's now white people, Hispanic people, Black people, and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You got the 2000 census. It's white people, it's Hispanic people, it's everybody else, and Black folks. We went from number 2 to number 4 and 5. Why?
Yep.
Because we're not paying attention to politics. We're not paying attention and letting our voices be leaned and learned in there. Other people are getting in and they're phasing you out. You don't think it doesn't, because a lot of our Mexican brethren are getting up here now and they're feeling the heat. Hispanic, they're feeling the heat.
Yeah.
About being deported. Well, they're deported into countries that we don't come from. You didn't come from here, but you came over here.
Right.
And I don't mean that to be flippant, but I'm just explaining.
No, that's
and
true.
Then you turn around and tell us, hey, y'all are not helping us. Why are you not helping us? Well, let's ask our brothers and sisters over there in California, in Los Angeles, in a couple of neighborhoods to be exact.
Talk to them. I know a couple of my homeboys over there who
how they were inviting when you all were coming in, whether you all came illegally or illegally. Mm-hmm. They invited you in. You set up shop in those neighborhoods to then turn around
and displace them
and push the Black people that came and said, hey, come on in, sit down. We understand, we understand the man and all this other stuff. You push them out. You impose violence on them and push them out of their neighborhoods.
It's our neighborhood now, Holmes. Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Exactly. But now the heat is on you. Oh, we're one people. Okay. To the Cuban Americans who came over here after Castro overtook the government.
Mm-hmm.
You all were the ruling class over there. You all come over here. People are inviting and welcoming to you. Your agenda was, oh, well, if we come, we can't have all these other people coming. Haitian Americans, ask your Cuban brethren why, when they can come here and they can step one toe on a beach.
Yep.
And they get fast tracked, but they take you and throw you back over in the boat. But then you turn around at Black Americans as if we've done something. We ain't done nothing.
But I think that's our thing, though, Pam. We are being so open has allowed us to not really gain the traction that we need to gain here in America, because we're so busy involved in everybody else's affairs but our own. We help they suck from the Black American teat so much. You know what I'm saying? That when it's our turn to strut our stuff, we flat chested now. We ain't got no boobs to showcase. You know what I'm saying? And all of them do it. Every last immigrant come over, look at the Black Americans' plight. They look at how they came up from how they did it and say, oh, we could fit ourselves right in here. Oh, like you said, affirmative action, DEI. Oh, we can grab all of that. We can go do that right there. We ain't even got to put no work in. They already done did the work for us. We could just go over here and eat all the meat off the table. And they won't know because they inviting us into the kitchen anyway. We got to start vetting. We have to start gatekeeping. the cookout can't be, hate to say it, can't be a multicultural cookout as much as we like. If you're not down for the cause, you can't step foot in the cookout. No disrespect, no hate, but no, we have to start looking out for our own, especially as we're getting what we got, $2 trillion buying power, because that's what a lot of people want.
Oh, exactly. And that's where let me push through there and caveat into this, because Aspiring Heights put this up here. It says a Nigerian woman is over the African American reparations in the African Union in the 6th state, which represents African Americans. And apparently this 6th region, and I talked about this in my other video, this 6th region is supposed to be representing South America, the Caribbean, and North America in as a region, because of the transatlantic slave trade, as a region into the African Union, right? Now, it's my understanding that Haiti had applied as a country to be part of this, and they told them no, but then they turned around and decided that they're going to be an observing country. Now, for those of you all that are members of that, y'all fact check me on that, because that's the last thing that I said. Is crazy. But let me tell you something, and I need for the people from the continent, and I need for the African immigrants to understand something. And I don't speak for all Black Americans, but I probably speak for most, or they have the same kind of inclination.
Right.
I'm getting my words.
Take your time,
because I lean into the fact that I am an emotional person, and I'm emotional people. I lean into that. So don't let my screaming and hollering and tears misdirect you from the message that I am sending. With all of that tribalism that went on the continent during the time when it wasn't called Africa. I don't know what the name of it was. The borders weren't drawn the way that the Europeans drew it in order to steal the resources. Regardless, those 8.5 by 11s came over onto your continent and traded with you textiles, umbrellas, and guns with no bullets. And you in turn traded people.
Yep.
You traded my ancestors for textiles, umbrellas, and guns with no bullets. And those people were put on ships, and they were ferried over across all over here, from Brazil, from the Caribbean to the Central, from the South, Central, and North Americas. I'm just going to say the Americas. For umbrellas, textiles, and bullets with no gun, or guns with no bullets. And again, we are not going to play the oppression Olympics, but what I'm going to tell you is that those people endured hell on earth. They were separated, they were disconnected from the continent, and nobody from the continent came or fought to come get the people back.
Right.
They were where they were. So when someone says that they are Jamaican, they are Jamaican. And it is to be respected.
Yep.
If someone says that they are Haitian, if someone says that they're Brazilian, if someone says they're Panamanian, if someone says that they're Mexican, and if someone tells you that they are Black American, it is to be respected, because that's who they are. They were disconnected from whatever happened over there in Africa.
Yeah. People always talk about the roots. The roots, you cut the root off when you sent the people across the pond. What are we talking about? The root was cut off and severed, and
it was propagated.
With fire.
That's the better word, because we were split. We were shorn from the tree. And a branch went over here into the Caribbean. A branch went over there to thing, and it was propagated down into those soils. And then their roots start that from that propagation.
Okay, I like that even more. It's like taking a potato, and how you can cut a potato up and
drop it in the ground,
and that's exactly what happened.
So even though it's a potato, the Caribbeans have their potatoes, the Brazilians have their potatoes, the Panamanians and the Haitians, all these folks had their own potatoes.
Yeah.
And we now, our eyes are open and we understand about this sixth region that came up in 2013. Why is it that it happened in 2013? What was going on in 2013 that all of a sudden you all started looking out? We need to capitalize on what's going on in the diaspora. We need to capitalize on that. Why? Because you sent your agents over here. You have all of these African immigrants coming from the 80s.
Yeah.
They're coming over here and they're sending money home because they're getting jobs. And like I said, I don't know the transfer rate from dollars to whatever the currency is over there, but I'm quite sure it was a little bit more. But let me just tell you the insidiousness in what I'm talking about. So now we have this sixth region. And in this sixth region, as Aspiring Heights tells us, there is a Nigerian woman representing people in the diaspora. So she's supposed to be representing and putting forth our needs and things like that in this being this sixth region,
the sixth, right,
of the African Union. Who are the Caribbean folks that should be representing that? Who are the Brazilian people? Who are they? Have we talked about who these people are?
Right.
Who are the Black Americans? We haven't. But see, here's what's insidious about this Blue, is that they've come here and then they'll say that we're African Americans because that's the terminology that everybody was using.
Yep.
And like they said, to white people, y'all all the same to me.
Same. Yep.
And so, but your agenda is different. So you've been moving in, and this is why I say, Black folks, you need to be paying attention to your states, your local, and your federal governments, because what they've done is that they've moved and they've infiltrated, and they've been talking about that we're African American and we're Black. You remember the talk of reparations have been going on since the 50s.
Yep.
Now the agenda of this sixth state, this sixth region, their whole goal for this whole year is to talk about reparations. How diabolical it is that you sell your people for textiles, an umbrella, and guns with no bullets. You were paid in textiles, umbrellas, and guns with no bullets for the trade of human beings, of your people. And then you're going to turn around and spin the block
and try to get reparations.
And try to get the reparations and then get the spending power of all of these folks. That is diabolical as hell.
It is.
And then you want to sit here and smile in our faces. Come back to Africa.
Year of return. That's what it was. The year of return. Somebody in the chat said that FBA buying power is insignificant. It's not insignificant because the thing is, over there, they're not cash flow rich. They're rich in, we have these like gold and stuff, you know what I'm saying, things like that, minerals and elements and
that's
stuff like that.
That's why they want your land. That's why the Chinese are there. That's why the Russians are there.
But
that's
they're not cash flow rich because the regulars over there, matter of fact, I was watching Gunn Man. He was talking about the year of return and how he hates it. He says you go over there when the Black Americans do come over, the prices go up. Now regular Ghanaian, what would be the term? Ghanaians, their income is what it is, but since we come over and we're cash flow rich, the merchants up the price, and they don't just up and you know, as a Black American, cool, we can, you know, we'll be able to pay for it, whatever that up price is, but the price don't come down for the native. Now he got to pay it. So that's one thing that hurts the local population over there, but it's because they want your cash. They want it, like I said, cash flow rich. They want money to be being able to be spent and spread around over there. Who can do that?
Black Americans.
Black folks can.
And if you don't understand how that is, you ask any Jamaican, ask them, because the bulk of their industry is tourism, and how the tourists have come down there and they have trying to water down or gentrify their culture. They'll tell you that, you know, Jamaicans and probably other people in the Caribbean, they have spicier foods.
Right. Yep.
And that's important to have spicier food, because now we're getting down to the griot of it all, that stuff. Because the spicier the food that you eat, the cooler your body is.
Right.
So of course they're eating spicier foods, because that's going to keep them cooler in the heat, because they're in countries closer or nearer.
Equator.
Yeah, exactly. So then you get the 8.5 by 11s that come over there. They love to be enthralled into things, but then they want you to change everything. I saw a video here where they were talking about that they were coming down and the people are now having to change the spice level of their foods, because the 8.5 by 11s can't handle the food. They're also talking about how they're being run away from their own beaches, how corporations and things like that have come in, that the local people can't even get out to the beaches so that they can make money to buy and to do things for their local economy. They can't even get to the beach. The strip for them to be able to get to the beach and to have their boats out and stuff like that is getting smaller and smaller. So no, buying power is not insignificant. Everybody knows it's not insignificant, because their studies show, I would say to our shame, is that $1 stays in our neighborhood probably 3.5, 4 hours. So that means that for every dollar that we make, we're spending. And one thing I know what Black Americans do, Black Americans spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on trips. We spend a lot of money on luxury items. We spend a lot of money on homes. We spend a lot of money on cars. We spend a lot of money on entertainment, period. Why do you think Beyonce go on tour every year and playing the same songs that she sings? Because she knows her audience. And not only are they spending money, her audience is also curating their own outfits and stuff. I've been seeing that come across my timeline all day. Every time she has a concert, every time she goes somewhere. So it's not insignificant. So what I'm telling you all is you all got to start paying attention. I know that the 8.5 by 11s have co-opted the word woke, but that was never for them. It was for you. Pay attention. See what's going on. And what's sad is that now we got to be woke with the skin folk, because we were treating them like kin folk. They don't want to be saved. They don't want that. They want to come here, pull and take the resources and send it back to their home country. And in the meantime, they want to destabilize all the stuff and all the games that are here. And I mean, I'm just being real. So then when you start hearing people talk about reparations, they're telling you, no, we don't need no reparations. But yet and still, they're working with the government, talking about reparations and talking about this African Union. And we are one. We are Africa. We're one people. And those reparations should be able to shore up the Black Americans who can trace their lineage back to slavery. They don't want you to have the money. They want that money to go towards them. And again, how diabolical that you spin the block on the doggone descendants of those people that you sold for umbrellas, textiles, and bullets with guns with no bullets. And then you want to spin the block and get the money from their descendants. I'm pulling it up. I just don't understand it. And I gotta figure this out.
What is that? Since I'm here, it says our buying power is insignificant in America. I don't have to pull up the wealth data. Tell that to Target.
I know what it is. You know what it is, but it shouldn't be that way. Because I looked this up on my other computer, on my other laptop, and that's why maybe that's why I'm not seeing it here. But it looks like I should see it.
What you trying to look up, Pam? I'm sorry.
I'm trying to look up that article that talked about the 1.7 spending power.
Do you know who it's from?
Hold on, y'all. Let me go get my other laptop. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all.
DJ Biggs. The Southern Black Americans have to bridge the gap with the Black Americans in the cities to build up. BA don't need outsiders. Jeffro 3 says, what's the difference in the white people trying to change the flavor of Caribbean food and the Caribs trying to appropriate Black American foods like mac and cheese, potato salad, and spare ribs? That's a good question. I do think it's a difference, though. I think it's a difference because that's what you know what I'm saying, kind of white people, that's what white people do. They're you know what I'm saying, like they're that's what they do. That's been their MO since the inception of America, to appropriate. So I think it's different there, and it's easier to be on the lookout for them to appropriate. But I guess it gets a little harder when your Caribbean brother is appropriating your stuff, and it hurts more. Tell you the truth, hurts more. Really does. Since Amir says the Target losses that they keep sharing was from the last quarter of 2024. They were already struggling. Trust me, I know. I got Target stock. Yes, they were already struggling, but are they not struggling even more? And yeah, them saying that they were expecting lower results, but I think they got lower than expected results, right? I think buying was down quarter, or coming into fiscal year 2025, year one, buying was down, but I think it was worse than expected due to the boycotts, and I don't even like to me, looking at DEI, I didn't really it didn't make me flinch or nothing like that, because I always said to Black folks, we like to put our face on the wrong movements, DEI, affirmative action. So it really didn't bother me. But when a business makes a bold proclamation the way Target did, you're gonna feel the wrath of not just because I don't even think it's just black folks. It's just you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Because you're changing up the way you do things. And you're not and it ain't for the better. There was no reason for Target to come out and do a whole press tour on the reason why that they were getting rid of DEI. Any of these companies, they didn't have to say that, hey, we're getting rid of DEI this year. They didn't have to say that. They could have just easily phased it out and went on to whatever the new situation was. But nope, they got in front of a podium or behind the podium, depending on how you're looking at it, and wanted to say, hey, we're getting rid of DEI, y'all. And people didn't like that. And that's what you got now. So yeah, they were struggling, but they struggling more now, aren't they? And it ain't just because people quit buying. Other businesses ain't struggling. So that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. Did you find it, Pam?
I found it. You know,
okay.
I just see that there go that black spending power got too many.
Just saying.
So this is the initiative. They're looking to this is by the African Report. Now see, they're here doing all this reports talking about all this spending. So anybody that's sitting up here talking about, oh, well, we don't spend, it's insignificant. It's significant enough. $1.7 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
It's significant enough. It's significant enough. Again, they understand. And that's to our shame that our money does not stay in our community that long. So of course they understand they're spending. Let me see if I can get them to spend money. And again, how does that tie in with the Essence Fest? That ties completely. Because you know, if any of you all have had an auntie, whether she was a rich auntie or not, you know your auntie always spent money on you.
Yeah.
And you know those women and men, but I'm just saying the majority, because Essence was designed for black women, black American women.
Mm-hmm.
Those women spend money. And they want what they want when they want it. Them same women had issues and problems. You remember when Meg Thee Stallion a couple of years ago, she was on the stage and they didn't like the booty shaking contest?
Right. Yeah.
And they spend money, since it's so insignificant, they spend money to the tune of $300 and $400 million. And even though it has traded hands, you don't see the Essence Fest, you didn't see it fold.
Right.
Hey.
Billy Moe.
You see that the festival didn't fold. Why? Because not only is the city of New Orleans making money, Louisiana,
mm-hmm.
the people at the fest were making money. The people who were sponsoring were making money. For it to be so insignificant. Why do you think that they have all these little festivals? Why do you think places like in Texas? Why do you think places like
California,
Las Vegas, and Nevada, they're having different festivals,
mm-hmm.
R&B festivals?
Coachella.
Why do you think down in Miami they're having all kinds of what's the Miami Gardens? All these people are having festivals, and these festivals are being funded through tickets and merch sales and stuff like that.
Patronized by Black Americans.
Right.
On the back of Black American performers, which in turn get us to come out and spend money.
It's been the formula, y'all. It has been the formula. I have done several videos about this formula.
We save industries.
Yes, in all of them. Look at Carnival. Carnival sat up here and put all this stuff and had all those Black folks to come out there. And I understand people are sick of hearing boots on the ground. That's fine. But they catered to the Black folks. And then they got their money because Carnival stock was going down. It was going in the pits.
Yep.
Their ridership. Royal Caribbean was taking all of their money.
Then you know Black folks love a cruise. Black folks love a cruise.
Now all of a sudden, see, they didn't say, we're not gonna play hip hop music. We're not gonna, y'all can't line dance. They didn't say they were taking away rock and roll music, hard rock. They didn't say that. But we're not supposed to think that they're being specific. Well, a lot of people don't want to hear that. That's fine. Don't start it in the first place. Why did you start something that you knew that you didn't want to continue?
Right. Let's talk this 1.7 trillion dollars. That would be the 16th largest GDP in the world. I don't think people understand that. The 16th, we would be the 16th largest, most powerful country if we was Black America. If there was like a Black American country, we would have the 16th largest GDP in the world. That would be between probably like Korea and a Mexico or something like that. That's how much money we are circulating throughout the country and the world right now. That's crazy for it to be so insignificant. It's sure a lot of data on it for it to be insignificant. See, you can't be insignificant, but then it's a lot of data on why you're spending, your trends, what you're buying, who you're not buying from, why do you buy? But it's insignificant though. That makes no sense.
None. It makes no sense that you don't have any culture, but everybody else is moving and shaking and doing how you do. You have fashion houses that send people out into New York City and Miami and all these places, all of these urban places where Black people are. They're sending people to those places to look at how they wear their clothes and their style.
Yeah.
Because they are just now talking about because they're in India now, taking over the way that they do their styles and stuff, and they got called out on them, and then they're like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
Right. Nah, that's what them high-end fashion houses that LVs and all of that, they go and get a Pharrell, they go and get a Kanye, they go and get a Virgil, they go and get a Dapper Dan, they go and get all of these people who made things popular and you know what I'm saying, make people buy stuff, and they say, hey, won't you come over here with us, make us hip.
Look at Kanye and them shoes.
Yep.
Kanye made it popular for you to dress like we have envisioned slaves to dress with all that tore up stuff.
Made people want to dress like bums again. Well, not again, but just making people want to dress like a bum. Yeah. Very minimalistic.
But we don't have anything. That's to keep you because you got to be woke now. I'm just explaining to you all. This is why they want to talk about how emotional and violent and all this other stuff that you are, because they want to keep your head over here while all the money that you're spending, you're not spending it. It's insignificant. And if you ask for something that is owed to you, because when we talk about reparations and all kinds of stuff like that, when we had an event happen to us that was bigger than the Holocaust, but the folks in the Holocaust got money, they got a whole country made for them.
Right. Whole country made for them.
When the Japanese were interned here in the United States of America, any Japanese American family, they put them in internment camps. They were paid.
Yep.
No one said anything about that.
Talk to them.
But the enslaved were supposed to have been promised 40 acres and a mule. They gave it back. This ain't nothing. But every time I say somebody ain't nobody gonna get a Dre Mac. Nobody.
Don't forget the race for the West. They just gave land away, then give it to us though.
They get no, absolutely not.
Then give it to us. I'm talking about land, biggest states they was giving away.
All those people that are in Wyoming and all those different things. And here's the thing too, and we have to talk to our native brothers and sisters as well. They gave y'all gifts and the official knowledge that you all weren't savages,
right? The decree,
but to own slaves,
right? The decree,
and
yep.
you all were given land and all that other stuff,
And they ran with it,
and you ran with it. So y'all, it's. I'm Essence Fest. Thank goodness, because people always like, oh well, these things. Thank goodness for Richelieu Dennis for buying Essence Fest and Essence Venture. Thank you for doing that. Because your shadiness, because we know you scammed the Harlem Theater out of their money, you and the other lady, the Tubman lady. Very much so. What I'm explaining is people talk about it as if it was not.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
even
casual with the talk. So casual.
They're very casual. If you live in the South, you are very familiar with the Daughters of the Confederate. Now, these are the children, the descendants of those people, those white people that fought in the Confederacy and lost.
But now they fight to keep their way of life going.
Exactly. And part of that is to try to send all this disinformation. Do you want to know why Florida is doing all that they're doing about books, what DEI, and we don't need all of that? You better be looking at the Daughters of the Confederates, because they're real big. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. They don't want you to talk about Black Americans when they're doing good or anything. They only want you to remember them as slaves. Because you'll go into schools and they'll do dioramas of slave plantations in a minute, and then tell you, as the person who's paying the taxes for your children to go to school, that look like you. And when you tell them, hey, it is history, but why does my child need to be doing a diorama of slave quarters?
Right.
And now they try to tell you, oh, well, we don't want to talk about slavery and stuff like that because it's gonna we're gonna make our children feel bad. Oh, but you want books that are talking about Black girl hair and Black way of life between the 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s, and the accomplishments of. You don't want to talk about that.
Right.
See, they don't want to talk about it, and people talk about it so long ago. Let me explain to you all. Your Mima doesn't want to have to explain why she was screaming at Ruby, that little Ruby Bridges, trying to get into a school. She don't want to have to explain that. See, your Mima and your Papa don't want to have to explain why they held a picnic around a tree where some of our ancestors was lynched.
Talk to them.
And they were picking off souvenirs and castrating them.
Yeah. My mom went to a segregated school and then, had to go to a whole nother different school.
They don't want to have to talk about that. We just saw a picture of the man who owns the Dallas Cowboys standing out there screaming and hollering because he didn't want that school that he went to that was integrated. Yeah. And y'all let him slide. Oh, well, I was a teenager.
Nah.
Come on now.
Nah. That's why I don't like the whole our kid, our kids. Y'all was putting y'all kids in Klan uniforms. Y'all was having y'all kids hold the match and light it to set them on fire. But now it's, our kids shouldn't. Nah, y'all, if y'all kids are strong enough to set a man on fire, I think y'all kids are strong enough to learn about the man that they set on fire. Think they'd be just fine.
I mean, you think about it. Because you all are you're sitting up here working, and your kids are coming into the work biz. They understand biases enough when they can tell somebody else, oh, I didn't know that you can speak eloquently. Why? I learned English like you learned English. What are you
Right.
talking about? Because of the biases. And again, a lot of people come over here that are skin folk, and they run with the biases, and then you're shocked. when you see a lot of black folks are going to HBCUs. Oh, well, where did those colleges come from? They've been here.
They've been here.
You're shocked to see black folks are upper middle class, lower middle class, and poor.
Yeah.
You're shocked because, see, you've been told that all black folks come from the hood and everybody is selling drugs. And that's what you see on TV, because anytime that there's a drug bust or anything like that, and there's some black people in there, those mug shots are going to be shown. But see, you're thinking that the other people aren't violent because of the fact of the way that they talk about violence around them.
Right.
A man can prune his whole family from the timeline. They won't show his mugshot. They'll show him with the family that he pruned from the timeline.
Right. And it won't go against their statistical data of being violent either. It won't be. Think about it. Like you imagine that's one person killing off at least 4 people, but there's no white on white violent statistic floating around, or they're not propagating that.
And how did they classify it? Because you better be very clear, because there's no way in the world, if you have a town, nobody in that town is committing crimes. But see, what happened is they'll have it chalked up to vandalism. They'll say, we have a big problem with vandalism.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, we have a huge, with the kids going to the properties and vandalizing the place.
Right. Spray painting and stuff.
That's how colleges do. Why do you think colleges, when you talk about the grapes that go on colleges, if you've ever been to colleges, particularly a PWI college, they run rampant, because that's what I went to. I can't speak for the HBCUs because I did not go. But it is rampant. And they reclassify it. So it doesn't look like on their statistics, because they're supposed to report it. That's what we had to tell people. Don't report it to the campus police. You report it to the local police, because the local police is going to have to deal with it.
Right.
See, in those towns, they can do all of that, because you're not there to ask the questions. If Mr. Jones just pew-pewed Mr. Wright, why is it classified under vandalism? Because you all say he vandalized Mr. Wright's jeans by getting them bloody, but it's not classified under assault or a gun charge. Oh, well, they were kidding. They've worked it out. It's okay. But Jamal pew-pews Ryan, baby, it's assault, it's vandalism, it's theft, it's all of these different statistics.
Got to reclassify it.
But I don't even know how did we get down this far? Because we were talking about money. But anyway, if the spending power is not important, if it's not important, then it shouldn't. Then if you're talking about Essence Fest, if that spending power, if Black American spending power is insignificant, the Essence Festival is going to be fine. I wish it well in Nigeria. But is it me? But it seems like folks from Nigeria is having problems with everybody, because not only are they coming here causing issues, but it looks like they're causing issues in Ghana. Looks like they're causing issues in South Africa.
Them Nigerians, man.
What is going on, Nigeria?
I read a story about a dude who made a company buy a fake a fake airplane company or something like that for like $2 billion. I said, that's the scam of the century. There was no airplane business, none. But he ended up making them buy this fake airplane business, and he was not. I said, oh man, he's like, and we're talking about stereotypes, and I'm just doing this in jest, I have a little fun with it. But that Nigerian stereotype It ain't no joke, man. That scamming, yeah, the Nigerian print, yeah. It ain't no joke. It seemed like it follow them everywhere they go. Scam.
Now, Nigerians, I need y'all to stick up for you. Is that the truth, or what's going on?
Yeah, I need to know what's going on.
We need to know, because I'm seeing things coming across. Y'all having some big issues over there in Ghana. They trying to get y'all out of there.
Got to get them out of there.
Y'all got big issues down in South Africa. They don't want to see you coming.
I don't know.
But anyway, getting back to this sixth region, the reason why I say it's diabolical, because you don't have the stakeholders, in my opinion, in there.
Yeah, you got to have an actual representative of, you want to call it, now all of a sudden it's the sixth region or the sixth state or whatever you want to classify Black Americans as, or Caribbean and Black Americans and things of that nature. But like you said, Pam, who is the one holding the banner up for this communication? You know what I'm saying? Who was the female you said that was in charge? Who was the lady?
Let me see. They said it was a Nigerian woman. We
done, Pam. We cook, Pam. We cook.
Hold on. Let me put, because listen, you all don't like to be fair with us, but I like to be fair.
Right. Yeah, let's be fair. And I'm just joking. It's just all jokes.
Oh, yeah. But we want to make sure. Let me see.
But yeah, you gotta who would be the Black American rep, and you know how Black Americans is. Oh, he don't speak for me, so you can't just have this one. You got to have a cabal of Black Americans up there to actually get some things handled and done. And why would you not let Haiti if somebody needs it on this side of the pond, Haiti needs somebody to, you know what I'm saying, help them get over the hurdle, because Haiti is really hurting, man. They ain't got why Haiti should have tourism going like the Dominican Republic got tourism going. They on the same damn island.
Same island. And see, and here's that thing, and again, here is that thing, issues that they have going on. Because you got those other people on the other side of the island that don't want to be. Let me just share this with y'all. I don't have the woman. I saw her the other day, but you know how you go down this rabbit hole, and I can't save all of this stuff, y'all.
Right. Yeah.
But this is the people from the 6 regions that is representing y'all. These are the people.
They ain't got no culture, Pam. No, I'm just playing. Let me stop.
These are the people. And here's the thing. One voice, one people, one Africa.
Africa too big to even really think. Like, what make you?
Because from what I understand, that they are trying to make Africa not only a continent, but a country, and then have 54 states, each one of them states. But the problem is the people been tribal warring with each other for as long as they can be, and I don't know how.
A lot of them are proud people. Why would I? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I want to be a Tutsi. I want to be a what was going on in Rwanda? The Tutsis and the I can't think of the other tribe right now. But a lot, they proud people.
Yeah. Now, this right here for them is that it's in Canada. You have to call the people that over in Ontario.
Would be in Canada.
But there's a woman. She's from Stone Mountain. I can't,
man, not Atlanta.
Yeah, it's in Stone Mountain. I think I see her face. I just don't have her last name. Let me see. And they don't have a picture of her here.
Who that white dude in the middle? He must be South African.
I don't know who he is, child. Because this is the guy up in Canada. But anyway, let me get out of here. Let me stop sharing because I can't. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that's a tall task, right? And to even even sitting down and coming up with that sounds like a 20 to 30 year scam. That's what it sounds like. The African Union starts to look at the 6th region. Why would I start looking over there? Right? Oh, they spend money. Then the return home and or the year return, and like, what countries in Africa benefit? I'm pretty sure Nigeria, Ghana, all the ones who telling us, hey, come home, get a dual citizenship. All, you know what I'm saying? What, 6 or 7 countries? Africa got what, 55 countries in it? Is it 55, 54? They all ain't benefiting from the African Union.
So here we go. Understanding what the 6th region of the African Union is. And here they have it. They have the transatlantic slave trade, and they show you where these people were transported to. A lot, it says from West Central Africa, they had 5 million people, over almost 6 million people transported. From all of these other countries, you have a good amount of folks. You got 2.2 million folks transported to the Brazilian area and all of these other different places. Here we go. Mm-hmm. So if you don't understand what here's the Atlantic Ocean. So you're transferring across the Atlantic Ocean. That's why it's transatlantic.
That's a lot of people. I don't know about that number, but that's a conversation for another time. But go ahead, Phil.
Well, you're talking over. They were actively sending people over 200, 300 years. So you think about the continent of Africa.
I guess it would work if you are selling, because the way I was told growing up watching Roots is they came and plucked you off the coast. That's what, you know what I'm saying? That's the story that was given to a lot of
well, I would tell you this. After the okie doke, because again, initially you traded us for umbrellas, textiles, and guns with no bullets. But once they realized that they can take these people and they work real good, because you remember, it was the Africans that when they went to those plantations that knew how to plant the sugar cane and knew how to do all of the rice and all the other stuff. They were there. So once they realized, hey, we've got those people, but because it's a different place, and they're dying out, they stopped trading and they went to plucking.
Gotcha.
So I could see that number, and I'm going to tell you that number might not be, to me, as high as it should be. So it asks us.
It should be higher. Oh,
I think it should be higher.
Okay.
Because well, let me hush. Says, why is the 6th region important? The African diaspora is a treasure trove of talent, but we have no culture, skills, but we're lazy, and resources. Our $1 trillion spending power doesn't mean anything.
Right, insignificant.
They contribute significantly to their adopted countries while maintaining strong ties to their ancestral home. So who are they talking about?
Adopted. That's like you build a home and then say, oh, that's your adopted home. No, I didn't adopt this home. I built it. It's mine. This is, y'all want to use that language to try to coax us in. That ain't what it is. You know what I mean?
You're beautiful. I'm going to sell you this airplane hangar. Come on, Blue.
Adopted.
Come on, Blue. They contribute significantly to their adopted countries while maintaining strong ties. They see how much money you're spending. And we're going to use this compartmentalized thing of the Essence Fest. They see how much money you spend for that Essence Fest. And we want you at maintaining home ties to ancestral, because we'll invite you over and you spend a little money over there. Recognizing this potential in 2013, because you didn't recognize it any other time.
Right.
The AU established the 6 regions to harness this global network for the benefit of both Africa and the diaspora involved. This is what they're talking about. They say, why does this matter to African everywhere? Whether you're living in Paris, London, or Los Angeles, the 6th region is about you. It's about recognizing the immense potential of the African diaspora and harnessing it for the greater good. It's about building bridges, not walls, and creating a future where everyone with African roots can thrive. And you can become a member, y'all. Just it just sends you back up to the top. I don't know how you can become a member up here. Is it this? So you can pay $10 as an individual membership. I don't know if it's a year or a month. As a business membership, $49. As a CSO membership. So I guess you just pick out if you want to be a member. But again, it's going to benefit. You're going to be helping them build roads and build all these types of stuff. Because they see your spending power. Let me see what some of you all are talking about. Now, well, how long have we been here?
I got a question on that though, Pam. Like, where was this sixth union or sixth state doing Jim Crow and civil rights?
Well, they claim they didn't listen. Let me type this in real quick.
And maybe I'm ignorant to the fact. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they did do something. I don't see it in history. I just did a quick Google. Pan-Africanism was starting to really blow up around that time. So they were like symbols, but nobody sent resources or diplomatic platforms or anything like troops. No, you know what I'm saying? Nothing viable, nothing tangible came across the pond to help out. So but now the sixth region is, let's go. Sixth region, we good.
This is what I have. Because they weren't studying us because now they didn't believe about the money situation. So this is what I typed in. I typed in the year that the countries in Africa became independent. You've got Morocco that became independent in 1956, Algeria in 1962, Nigeria in 1960, Mauritius in 1968, Tunisia in 56, Ethiopia in 47, Madagascar in 1960, Democratic Republic of the Congo in 1960, Seychelles 76, Burkina Faso in 1960, the Sudan in 1956, Cabo Verde in 1975, Ghana in 1957, Tanzania in 61, Kenya in 63, Libya in 51.
Sound like they need to be worrying about themselves if they just not engaged independent.
Ghana 57. Okay. Somalia 1960, Mali 1960, Uganda 1962, Senegal 1960, Niger 1960, Zimbabwe 1980. It's an 80s baby.
Yeah.
Angola 75, Rwanda 62, South Sudan 2011. That
so it
bad
seems like they trying to
Gen Alpha.
Yeah, trying to fast track their way into existing on a global scale. That's what it seemed like. And to do that, let's go get
Utreya is a Gen Zer.
Yeah, 93.
Cameroon 61, Namibia, and it goes on and on and on. It goes all through here.
Liberia 1847 for Liberia. But I don't hear nothing about them.
Well, that is because Liberia was formed because, in that time period, they were trying to get rid of some of these slaves.
Yeah.
They were trying to get rid. So they formed this country of Liberia for them. Right. And it didn't work out. It didn't give what it was supposed to have gave.
That's because they pulled all the money away from it, sent them over there, and then give them no money.
So this is part of the reason why you see all of them trying to do. They formed the African Union in the 60s, and they looked over here and they realized in 2013 these jokers got a lot of money. because we see, you see the Black Americans there, and they're living, like I said, we have all levels of living over here. So I'm not trying to make it seem like that there are not people here that are struggling. They are.
Right.
But you have to understand too that there are some people that could be further than what they are, because our government has put obstacles in the way for them to thrive at a better rate.
At a better
But
rate, faster
but
pace,
still, as Maya Angelou, still we rise. We still despite we're still thriving. But my whole point is, then you see people that are coming from the continent who come over here and they have jobs, because again, they came part of that 1980s need for doctors and
right.
nurses. They come over, they come and they thrive, and they get to send money back home, and the people are seeing that. If they have money and they can send it back home, what about those people that are there and they don't and they don't know where they're from, so they don't know where they can send their money home to?
That's the crazy part. That's the crazy. It was a video I was watching, and the girl kept saying, "Well, where are y'all from?" He was like, "America," but she was like, "No, but where are y'all from?" Like, and he kept saying, "Well, would you ask a Jamaican where?" And she was like, "Yeah, Jamaicans are from Jamaica." And he was like, "Yeah, and we are from America." What is the disconnect? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know. That's crazy to me.
That is because now, and I bet I know what you were watching. You were watching a guy on the street asking them questions and stuff like that. Was that type of video?
No, I've seen that one too, but no, this was like an in-depth conversation, because it was two, either they was first generation African Americans, or one was actually born over and came, you know what I'm saying, something like that. But they was talking about the lazy, and he was really trying to get down to the African American or the Black American versus the Caribbean and the African diaspora war, basically, is what kind of what
because
it was.
because again, if they're immigrants coming over, they come in and say that, we're African American, we're Black Americans, we're this, and like I said, their agenda is different. And so, but then in order to kind of mask the fact that their agendas are different, they're starting now talking about this globalness. We've got to be, Black Americans are the only ones that they are asking to be global. But Jamaicans can be Jamaicans.
Right.
Haitians can be Haitians. But you got to be global. You've got to be of Africa. You've got to be one. And so
come back to your roots. Come back.
Exactly. And so that's the spin. That's part of the grift. So again, the video that I saw is a young man that lives over in Europe. He was in London at one time. I think he's in one of those other European countries. But he's talking to a bunch of Londoners, young Black Londoners, young Gen Alphas, talking to them, and they're like, "You don't know where you come. Black Americans are dumb. Black Americans are lazy." Now these are the children,
right? Yeah,
of the folks that or the grandbabies that come over here from the people who came over in the 1980s. These are their children saying these things. So then when we sit up here and we say, "You all are saying it," we get gaslit. No, and if we start questioning things, you're being xenophobic.
That's the new one.
But y'all are being xenophobic for us at the first. Because why would a child that you're raising say that? And then when you stand there and you put things in front of them, they'll tell you that's because you don't know your culture. What do you mean we don't know? Because you don't know where you come from in Africa. But like you said, and the girl was like, and so he was like, "Well, where are you from?" She says, I'm Nigerian and Jamaican." Do you know where your people come from in Jamaica? Do you know what country that your people come from? No, because they're Jamaican. Okay, you realize that there was a transit. He's explaining, and they're looking at him like he has
like he don't know what's going on.
He don't know what's going on.
I think that video, they was over in London though, right? I think it was over in London. Yeah, I know exactly what video you talk about. Yeah.
Now think about it. They're over in London talking greasy like that. How do you think they talking when they come from the Caribbean? Now, let me be very, very fair. Folks from the Caribbean understand what we're talking about more so than people who are coming from the continent.
From the continent, yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of people from the Caribbean say, we love Africa, but we don't know exactly where we're from. We don't have any problems with partnering with Africa, but I couldn't tell you where we come from on the continent because I don't know.
And why would they know?
And
But
side note,
that's the crazy, Africans treat them like they know though. Oh, well, they're Jamaican. Like, you don't question the Jamaican, the Haitian, the Brazilian, the Panamanian, like you said. You don't question him about his roots. But Black Americans got to be questioned, and you know what I'm saying? Why do I have to be questioned? I know where I'm from. I'm from here.
And then
Georgia.
the question,
like, what are we
and
talking?
here's the thing, and then when you start with, because there are people, there are Black Americans that are more knowledgeable than I am.
Right.
And there are Black Americans that have had experiences that I don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that, because they don't pass down like they need to, but for some people it has passed down. There are things that are going on here now because again, I can't begin to tell you. Only thing I know about foundational Black Americans, they are saying that they are the people who were here.
Mm-hmm.
During because there is a sect of them that say that they were here and they are like a native tribe. And the reason why I don't question, because everyone goes, like I said, to whoever is the victor. That's the history that you're taught.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What people will tell you all the time about the history of certain things and things that you put, even stuff like the fact that cowboys.
Right.
Everybody, when they think
Black.
about cowboys, they think about white men.
Mm-hmm.
When they don't realize that cowboy was the slur name that they would give to young Black men who were tending to the cattle.
Ranchers. Yep, the Black ranchers. Yep. Called them cowboys. Why you think it was boy involved in it? Cowboys.
When you start talking about blue jeans and denim and stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
those were the fabrics that they gave to those ranchers and slaves,
mm-hmm.
because
and
it was durable fabric.
And we made it
durable fabric. Yes. But you let the white people, the 8.5 by 11s, tell you, oh, we were cowboys and we were doing all of this and da 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 this and we did all this other stuff. But that was the slur that they gave you. Mm-hmm. And I hear a lot of people talk about, well, the Buffalo Soldiers, we don't like they was gunning down the Native Americans and stuff like that. Let me go back. Because remember when we talked about things and talk about slavery ending, and you remember how I said that
who did not want slavery to end? Who didn't want it to end? Them Native Americans.
Because slavery ended in 1863, and then in 1865, that's when our brethren in Texas was told. But past that, during Reconstruction, y'all, Native Americans had slaves.
Yep.
They were freeing their peoples.
Some didn't want to free them. Like somebody said, that 5 civilized tribes did not want to free them.
Oh, well, you are talking about these people, and these people are talking about there was natives here, because everybody, all Black people from the United States of America, y'all came from Africa. There were melanated people that were already here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People speak of Mansa Musa all the time, but don't understand the story of Mansa Musa, how he became what he was. His brother came over here. This was in the 1400s, 13th century, 14th century, something like that. His brother came over to America. I think he made like 2 or 3 voyages and then didn't come back that last voyage, which made Mansa Musa take over the whole tribe over there. You know what I'm saying? In that region, that Igbo region, and become Musa. Now he's the richest man in the world during that time period. But yeah, they say you can drop a boat from the west coast of Africa, just drop it in the water. It's going to end up in America because the currents run that way. That's how the currents run. They run to America, and it's not a hard voyage, especially in today's age. It's not a hard voyage, but it's not a hard of a voyage as you may think. It's hard for when I got 300 bound people underneath the boat and I'm not feeding them and all type of stuff. Yeah, that's a hard voyage then. But if we are working together, no, we can make that voyage to and from a couple months, maybe. You know what I'm saying? On a sailboat or something like that. So no, it wouldn't be easy for Mansa Musa or his brother to make it over to America. So I'm just using him as an example. I saw somebody say he's a slave trader. I'm just using that example of people already from the continent of Africa coming over here and putting down roots in a Brazil, putting down roots in the South America, Mexico. What did Columbus say when he got over here? Who he saw? It's matter of fact,
Look it up.
Pam, you can talk. I got a document that I'm gonna pull up.
Look it up. I'm just going through the comments. Look
Did
it
I
up and pull
save
it up. Yeah.
I did save.
5 civilized. They got that put down on paper to say that they're civilized and they're not savages. And you have people, but and again, you have a good amount of expats that live over in Ghana and South Africa and all these different places. You have a lot of people living over there. And they're retiring and doing stuff like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of people, and I've seen especially a lot of older Black women that are doing it, that are retiring. But I'm also seeing in certain countries that they're going over, and then those women are being pruned from the timeline, and all that land and stuff that they purchased is just being resold to the next person, and they're not investigating their
because
death.
Corruption and things like that run rampant over there. That's one thing that got me too. A lot of us over here, want to run to Africa because of the racism over here. But it's like, yeah, but when you get over there, now you're just gonna have a black face doing that to you. That's what for me, I'm a fighter by nature. You know what I'm saying? I'm was taught to fight, born to fight. I'm a stand up for mine. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. If I made something here, I'm gonna fight for it. Never in my brain was it, let me go run across the water and go set up shop over there. I was never taught to run away from something. And it never made sense for me to run away from here just to go over there to be robbed or beat or whatever by somebody who looked like me. You know what I mean? That just never made sense to me. Especially when they try to say, oh, I'm getting away from the white man doing it to me. So you don't want the white man doing it to you, just want the African to do it to you, or somebody to look like you. That I don't know. That just never made sense to me. Oh, yeah. Never made sense.
And then they talk about, and even with this stuff about immigration and stuff like that, people think that we're being hard and we're being callous when we're saying, I can't help you with that. I can't help you with that. Well, they're coming for you next. People ain't never stopped.
Right. They ain't never stopped coming for
fucking with us. They just ain't never stopped. I mean, you can't get you next. I'm in my 50s and can't go to a doggone store without people trying to come up to you and question you what you're doing under the guise of, hey, such and such, aren't you such and such? No. What are you doing? Where are you going? Or if they listen, because I think my mother and I was having a full conversation in the middle of the aisle. We weren't talking to anybody. I'm having a conversation, and this woman comes up and inserts herself into the conversation to tell us how we are incorrect about certain things. Now, mind you, we're talking about stuff that happened in my mom's hometown, but we're incorrect about something. But anyway, all I'm saying to you all is this. They never stop coming for us. But you have to understand about Black Americans. They're not pulling us. They're not pulling up to our homes because we don't have visas. We don't have green cards. We don't have immigration paperwork. So we're not in that system. Now, if a Black American rented a home to an immigrant, yeah, they're going to come to that home. But they know where you all are because of the paperwork that you all have to fill out. They're going in the databases. Do you really think Elon Musk going in there and having those young hackers going through those databases was a coincidence? If so, I have an airport to sell you.
Speak to him. Speak to him.
You think that was a coincidence? You think TikTok, trying to get rid of TikTok, has anything to do with security breaches? Because if they believed that, they would have taken, as soon as they had figured that out, they would have shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
It don't have anything to do with that. It has everything to do about the dissemination of information. That's what they don't want. See, they know where you're at. Because, you know, they had it, you got a son of an immigrant who's sitting in the White House. And then you have a naturalized citizen from South Africa that went into the government and took all your information. So technically, it's an immigrant that messed y'all stuff up.
Yeah.
You better thank Elon for that. Because he went in there and got all that information and made it so that they could go through and track and have programs to be able to pull that information up. This is why they're knocking at your door. And no, it didn't help for y'all to be all on the TV. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. It didn't help. Why are you showing yourself when you know your husband is illegal?
You know what? Let's start right here.
What they say, Pam?
I will vote for Donald Trump. You sitting up here doing all of that. And then they see you. And then you want to sit up here and cry. And I regret my vote. Baby, once you vote, you voted.
You vote, you vote. That's it.
You vote, you voted. This is what you voted for. Well, y'all need to come out and march with us. No, we're not going to do that. That's not our issue. That's fight. And then you have the Pan-Africans that'll say, you know, you need to be doing this. And, you know, we are all this one. And y'all need to be marching and fighting and doing something like that. Again, the one thing about Black Americans, they have never stopped coming for us. But if you are a Black American, and you done been to your grandmama's, your great-grandmama, them house, or been out around their land, or know your great-great-great-grandma, you don't have immigration papers. You don't have a green card. We don't have to go to the immigration and redo our visas or the State Department. We don't have to do none of that. We've never had to do that. The most that we do is get a passport so that we could go across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us, and you think, well, y'all don't have passports, you don't go. The United States is bigger than the European, all right. The countries in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
People in England, Blue, have hissy fits when they have to drive 2 hours.
Right. Yeah.
And some of us drive an hour to work and an hour back.
Yeah. Yeah.
The country is so big, any kind of climate that you have, that you go, we have that in the United States. Whether you go down to the Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico or Hawaii for tropical types of climate, whether you want to ski, where you can go to Utah and Wyoming and Colorado to do all of that, whether you want to be down south in the heat, in the humidity, be up north in the heat, in the concrete. You want to be out in nature with Yellowstone. And how about all the animals leaving Yellowstone and everybody asking what's going on? That doggone thing is about to erupt.
Yeah.
Them animals know what's going on.
Yeah. And they say that's FEMA and all of that, him getting rid of y'all talking about that flood. That's one of the most, probably they say that would be one of the most destructive forces seen in America. I think the last, what was that? Mount St. Helens. When was that? That was in the 80s.
That was in the 80s.
But they say this because a lot of people don't look at that as a volcano. That's an active volcano.
Yeah.
People don't look at it like that, but that's an active volcano. And when it go, watch out. Watch out.
You know, it's a lot of stuff. And not necessarily, like it says here, because I asked, what states would, if Yellowstone volcano erupted, what states would be affected? It said immediately Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talk about the flows. And then they talk about the ash.
Yep.
And that's everywhere else. Sulfur dioxide, the cooling of the climate. So maybe this global warming doesn't affect Yellowstone and it's about to blow to cool us down. But a lot of people are going to be affected.
Yeah.
A lot of people be affected. And y'all ain't fought. Let me see. Here's what I want to show. Let me see.
I want people to Google. It's called a philosophical antiquarian concerning the Aboriginal history of America. And this is a collection of reports from conquistadors who came over to America and was describing the natives. These conquistadors, yeah, it's online. You can go to the Library of Congress. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, just send me a link and I'll put it up. But let me just show y'all while he's doing that.
I'm gonna send it to you in over there. X.
So you look at this, because this is where Yellowstone and all this at. Look at how the blast, if y'all can see what I'm talking about. Look at that, look at all of this. It's coming way over here. Look like Georgia, Florida, a good part of Alabama. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, it looks like this people, yeah, just, I'll be barely all right, because I'll be barely all right. But look at this, and this is just the ash flow. And don't let a Santa Ana come through, because the Santa Ana goes from the west to the east.
It'll blow it. Yep.
And shoot, it'll blow it right on over.
Yeah, man. I be telling everybody to think that, nah, man, that's a dangerous volcano, right? But nobody's talking about it. But that's a dangerous. That might be the most dangerous one that could over here, and on this side of things. Because Hawaii got a volcano that erupt like when it just wants to. If it want to,
yeah, and it just builds land for them. Yeah, I mean, they just get bigger by the. And here's what Blue is talking about that you all can go and definitely look
into. Yeah, they talk about the and the conquistadors had already been to Africa. You know what I'm saying? And they talk about how they describe the women, they describe the men, and how they look just like they call them Negroes. They look just like the Negroes from Africa and stuff like that. It's a big book. So I'm trying to find the actual chapter where they go in depth about it. It's taking a while to load up.
That's all right. But this is what he's talking about. I dropped the link down in there, and they can definitely copy and paste it if they want to definitely look it up.
And it's old. This is an old book, so have to bear with me on that.
And you have to look. What is it? Let me look up something too, because while you're talking about that as well.
But it's a lot of history that we don't get the opportunity to learn, especially not in regular classrooms and schools and things, like Pam said earlier, to the history goes to the victor goes the spoils and the history. They get to write it, but they dropped a lot back then. I would say this, back when they were just pure discoverers or what they would classify, they wrote everything down. They wrote everything down. So the what's his name? Columbus, he wrote a lot of stuff down in his journal describing things. This conquistador right here wrote all of this stuff down, just because coming over to a new land like that, you want to know who is who, what is what. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that it's not just one type of people. If I come over to a land, it ain't just gonna be one type of people. So I want to know who I could talk to them. I can't talk to them, not right now. I got to figure out either how to take them out or what can I trade with them to get them on my side. Like, they writing all this stuff down, and a lot of them they were not anthropologists. They were generals, some type of warmonger. You know what I'm saying? They was coming over to stake claim for Portugal or Spain or whatever. So yeah, it's a lot of information out there that shows, because we got into this to talk about how FBAs, some FBAs believe in the aspect of being over here already. History proves that, yeah, Africans have made it over to America already, and I think we're living here, and I think would have added to the population of when they do count slaves or Negroes or whatever, so yeah, that's why it would be easy, when the FBA say no, we're indigenous, that's not taken away from the Native American, not that indigenous. We're saying we already came over here, like we was already over here. We might not be the first ones over here, it might have been already somebody over here, but we came over here and was living in harmony with them already. That's what the whole thing about being native to this land already. Plus 400 or 500 years being cut off from a place, you are native to where you at, right? Like, you native now, it ain't nothing that you can do about it. That's why I don't understand you don't know where you come from. Yeah, I do. I know exactly where I come from. Been here for 400 years before the country was even America. Yeah, like.
And that's the thing about too, when you talk about that, and when I talk about with them going west with that Louisiana Purchase and all that other stuff, y'all understand that, because when we talk about Louisiana and we say Louisiana is whatever them folks in Louisiana say they are, that's who them folks that Louisiana say they are. But you have to understand that even when this was a territory, the English and the whatever was over here on the coast. But it was the Portuguese and the Spanish and the who else were they? I want to say
Portuguese, Spanish.
Was it Belgium?
Oh, you talking about Louisiana?
I'm talking about during the because you remember
like
the Louisiana
Purchase. That was the French.
And the French. Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew it was another one. I said Belgium, but. So you have all of those people mixed over in there and doing all that other stuff. But again, when they purchased that land and they started telling people they could come and they give them land, they didn't give our ancestors land. They didn't give them not a single thing, and they promised them something. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here. Let me pull this off the screen. Let me stop sharing. I just wanted to come up here to let you know that this is what we're talking about. So if there's anybody that wants to come up and give a statement or ask a question or leave a comment, I'm going to drop the link down into the description box. We'll do this for the next 10 minutes or so. So try to keep it down to at least 2 minutes. Here is the thing. You don't have to show your face, but as you come up to be thing, let me see your face. I'd like to see who it is. I'd like to see your face. So if you're wanting to come up, I'm gonna drop the link down in the description box. Give me one moment.
Come on in. Come on up.
Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I think this is it. I think that's it. Because I'd love to hear what you all are talking about. I think. Oh, that's a referral. I may have dropped the referral link, child. Here it is. That don't worry about that link that I just dropped, child. I may have dropped the wrong link.
They can sign up. Go ahead, sign up and let Pam get a little bit of that.
It's the second one. Don't disregard that. Let me just delete it. How about that? It's the second one right here. So sorry about that, y'all. But if you want to refer me, come on, do that. But yeah, I just deleted it. But yeah, I had the wrong link.
Come on up, y'all.
Yeah, I am so curious. What are y'all thinking? But I'm going to go back through these little images that you're talking about.
It's a lot, Pam. It's a lot. You know what? Let me see if I can do this. It's a guy.
I got it. I got it. I'm doing it. It just trying to wait for people to come up because it looks like it is massive.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all, these people wrote this stuff by hand. They didn't have AI. So you talk about somebody writing something from hand by hand, you know that took them years, you know, months or years and stuff, because they, you know. I was trying to find, there was I had it on Facebook, but see, it's so many years ago since I wrote that on Facebook, since it was on Facebook, but they would have this little image thing coming from like 1848, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
of the different races, who was like, you know, who was like what the Egyptians looked like, what
Yeah,
the all
I
these
think I know
different
what you're
races.
talking about. Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of show who they thought were, who were, because the Egyptians were considered to be Caucasians, and
Mm-hmm.
they, how they co-opt Caucasians, because someone told me when they went to Egypt and they saw all that golden land, they
Yep.
figured that they can't be Caucasians no more. I don't know. I just heard that. Let me see.
No, that is true. And you know, the Greeks came over and usurped it anyway. So by the time the white anthropologists got over there, I mean, it is by the time Greek slash Arab, you know, Arab and things of that nature. So they didn't want that to be. But think of how the pyramids was built, the you know, all of those structures and things like that. They was like, we can't do it. It's got to be us, because these savages can't do it. These black folks, I know damn well didn't do it.
Or it's aliens, people from outer
Or
space
it's
did it.
aliens, right?
So no, Anwar Sadat. When you look at Anwar Sadat, you tell them that he is what they would say real melanated. But I'm just saying that the wording that they used to describe the different races back in 1848, they considered those people up in Egypt, all the way around to like Armenia and all of those places, they considered them to be Caucasians. That's what the races, all this other race stuff, these quote unquote social contracts, they changed it. But back then, when they weren't talking about it like we're talking about it now, they had it a different way. And they did when they started describing the people that that they saw. Okay, I got to go get something. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay,
Let me see.
I like this comment right here. The pyramid mounds are bigger and older than Egypt. There are cities of pyramids across America's original Valley of the Kings, Grand Canyon. Look, it's a lot of what I want to say. Things surrounding that conspiracy. I think America, like, and that's why I said, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if you was here earlier. It's nothing for, because now you're finna get me in my conspiracy and my tinfoil hat. I don't know if you ever heard of the research structure over in West Sahara, Africa. I believe that to be the lost city of Atlantis. It's rings and stuff like that. So imagine, and you can see the old riverbeds flowing to it and stuff like that. But those riverbeds flow to the Atlantic Ocean. So imagine coming from that spot, taking all that you know, because supposedly Egypt got all their knowledge from Atlantis anyway. That's word on the curb. They go over to America with the same technology and do the same thing over there in America, or the Americas, like you said. Make it all the way over to the Grand Canyon. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm right there with you. I'm telling you, my conspiracy hat is deep, man. My conspiracy bag is deep when it comes to anthropology and history and things like that, man. You know, so I'm right there with you. The Valley of the Kings, the Grand Canyon. They don't allow people over into the Grand Canyon. Like, you can't just go over there and walk and go down through the Grand Canyon. They say it's dangerous, but I think it's because of some you know, might be some things down there that they don't want out or seen by regular people. So America's a vast place, and I think it's a lot of history over here that is yet to be seen or found. They don't want the people to give away, things like that. I know y'all probably look at me like I'm crazy, but yeah, I love that stuff. All of that history, man, that's where it's at. I don't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. So let me see what else. Anwar Sadat looks like any black person's granddaddy from here. Yeah, nah.
Yeah. So also to y'all, this book right here, and I don't know if you can see that. Can y'all see that?
Back it up. They came before Columbus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hold it
That's
down a little bit.
okay. Tell me how. Let's see.
Nice. There you go, right there. Yep, with the Olmec head on it. Yep.
This is the book that when you talk about folks with FBAs and they because it talks about it says they came before Columbus, the African presence in ancient America, and it's written by Ivan van Sertima.
Yep.
Sertima. And it talks about they showed different artifacts and things like that were found here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, I was about to. I went searching for it because usually when I'm looking for a book that I have, and that's the thing about reading, you read all these doggone books and you can't find half of them. I thought somebody in my circle had taken my book, but this is going to be a very good reread because I tell you the truth, I just skimmed it and was reading it. It was very interesting. I skimmed it and read it, but I'm going back because that was what made me think when you were talking about Anwar Sadat. That made me think of that book about looking a certain way and talking about that. But anyway. So there's nobody that wants to come up. The link is down. The link is down in the thing. I will there it is.
Don't look like it. I mean, some people just like to talk in the chat.
And that's fine. But I know some people like to want to be able to come up and talk because like I said, I was just up here just to kind of go over. I don't know if I'm going to be talking about this topic because I'm about to do a video about Blade.
I want to real quick to kind of put a bow on things, and I hate to use dogs when describing Africans and Black Americans, stuff like that, because just hearing that, they all see us the same. Yeah, when I see a dog, I just think dogs and I take off running, right? Because that's how white people probably look at black folks. You know what I'm saying? But there's different breeds of dogs. They all come from the wolf. All dogs are genetically wolves, but they've all been, you know what I'm saying? We are a different breed. I just hate using that because it sounds bad, but that's exactly what we are. We're a different breed. We're a different ethnotype than Africans. We are, through blood, through trauma, through everything that we've endured here has made us, has changed us. And the reason why I'm using dogs, because like I said, they all come from wolves, but you got Chihuahuas. Think of a Chihuahua coming from this big wolf. But that's where the Chihuahua come from.
A Frenchie.
A Frenchie. Right. These small dogs were bred to be like, you know what I'm saying? We were bred to be, and that is true. We were bred to be a certain way. And now this is what you get. This is what we are. And we have a certain experience that Africans just do not have. And that experience should be respected. Just like we respect the African experience. You being Nigerian, you being Ugandan, you being Kenyan, you being whatever the country, where you come from, we respect where you come from. Just respect us. We don't go over there and just, you know what I'm saying, start tearing up stuff or going crazy and trying to, well, as far as I know, assert our dominance over there. We don't say, oh, y'all, look at y'all. It's nasty, it's filthy, it's dirty over. We don't do that. We try to go over there, enjoy the culture. You know what I'm saying? We even try to connect. The whole Pan-Africanism thing is about trying to connect. So that's I just wanted to throw that out there. When thinking about us, think about it like that. We're just a different breed. Different breed. And you can't treat a Chihuahua like you treat a Rottweiler. You just can't. You can't.
They're different. Yeah, because which one of them? One of them, the noses is so bad that they can't lay a certain way, or they'll suffocate or anything like that. But understand and people get mad. Now that we're on that subject, I'm gonna pull it off of dogs. But people get mad when we tell you that we can tell someone who is now. What gets difficult is folks from the Caribbean.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But we can tell when someone is from the continent or not.
Oh yeah.
Like we can tell when someone is from the continent. Somebody from the Caribbean, it gets a little difficult because again, we have shared experiences. Now, I will tell you a lot of folks in the Caribbean have a lot of Chinese or Asian
because they came
but you can visually you can tell someone from the continent from someone that doesn't come from the continent. And it it's not all about how they're speaking or anything like that. There's just certain looks that happen
and demeanor, because environment plays a big role in how you look and how you function, how you do things. And America is not Africa, Africa ain't America. You know what I'm saying? So
hold on just a second. So Aspiring, did you send it to PAM Entertainment? Because it's all one word, TV@gmail.com. But go ahead.
But yeah, environment plays in. I guess I'm bringing it back to the dogs, but environment plays a big role on how you look, your actions, what you do. You know what I'm saying? So of course, with people, if you're coming up in South, I don't want to say South America, but the American South. That's what I meant to say.
You can go to South Florida. Go to South Florida. Folks in South Florida look totally different than people from North Florida.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The people growing up in the South, you put them against somebody out West, it's a total different, look, a total different feel. So imagine that when regards to Africa, especially, and these are all people from the same country,
right?
That we're speaking of. Imagine that now with 400 years, 400 or 500 years of disconnect from Africa. Of course, we are not the same. No way, shape, form, or fashion are we the same.
Similar features, possibly, but you could tell someone different. Alicia, you ready to come up? I see you popped up here.
Show my camera, but there's no way to turn
it off. That's fine.
I gotta put my thumb over it.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so you were talking about, I watched your show for the first time. I had never seen you before, Pam, until the day before yesterday, when you did your show on the economics, the deep economics of grifting of.
Yeah, I will tell you, this is not my usual content. This is not my usual content. Okay. I do a lot of pop culture stuff. This is just like part of my pop culture, because usually I'm doing celebrity legal news and Marvel news and stuff like that. But this popped up under my pop culture chat, and it was so that's probably why if I didn't come across your thing. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because to me it's like a shell game. And I worked in nonprofits for a long time, and I always knew that foreign aid was going nowhere. But I didn't make the association of, I always saw it as a leadership thing, like whoever was plugged into the UN, their dignitaries stealing money. But this has come down to the population taking it upon themselves, the upper class population taking it upon themselves to get together and plug that in, and plug into that. And I'm not understanding how I do understand, because we had that whole transition after the vid of Black people getting plugged, Black people who now call themselves Black getting plugged into politics.
Right.
And I'm just wondering what you think about the identity with that, with that transition to Blackness and using Blackness. And you mentioned, I'm quite sure that the whites who they work under know that they are using blackness, they are using race, and they are using this money. But I'm wondering, even though everything is lawless, how that gets managed. How do we get our money back? You know, I'm wondering how in the system do we stop people from being our doppelgangers, taking our identity? And how do we call out this money being used? Because both Africa and political parties said that they were going to slow down or not give foreign aid. So I'm just wondering how we get that money back and how do we take charge of identity?
Well, I don't know how we go. I don't, if they've already sent it out, I don't know how they're going to get that money back. But I think one of the thing is that uh, we all have to stop allowing other people to gaslight us. I personally think that the term African American should be used for African immigrants and African immigrants only.
Yeah.
I think that we have to come up with our own term. I know people are talking about FBA. I know people are talking about ADOS. I've heard some people talk about Solon. Whatever it is, we have to be able to do that and put that terminology out there. Because what's happening is that you're having people that are coming over. Remember, I said that people came over during the 1980s to fill the gap in the nursing and doctors.
I
And
remember, yeah.
so you're talking about that. So you're talking about a group of people that came over and that they've had children. So if their children became grown in the 90s, they've had children in the 2000s. And if those children are grown now in the 2000s, you're talking about these children. They are quote unquote Americanized, and they are coming over here. They have whatever their parents' agenda was is possibly what their agenda is. Are they Americanized? They probably are so, but they are speaking and talking just like we do for the past 500 or 600 years. But that's happened in any other country that they go to, and they're and what they're doing is we're black. See, we like hip hop music, we like gospel music, we like all this other stuff, but then they go home and they put their garb on and all this other stuff that identifies them of who they are when they're out in the streets, that they're not. I would just say this is why it's so important when you talk about your local politics, when you talk about your state politics, when you talk about your federal politics. Y'all keep up with what's going on. Have conversations with your family, have conversations with the people around you so you know what's going on. Even if you don't have any, I don't have any child in the school, in school, but I'm going to the school board because my property taxes pay for that. I want to know what's going on in the school and how they're educated, what they're doing and stuff like that. Be very proactive because they're proactive. And one of the things that I do know with the couple of African, I'm not going to tell you where they're from, that are here, they tell me that when they approach white folks don't see them as a threat.
No, they don't.
And so when they don't see them as a threat, they allow for them to do and say or whatever, and talk to them about certain different things. That's what pissed me off about the Samuel, what's his Emmanuel Ocho, about him being the bridge to black folks. So in other words, they're feeling like, oh, well, we find y'all to be decent folk. But we need to get those lawless folks over here in order. Y'all need to talk to them and tell them, because they're gonna just like Asians, they're gonna conform to what they want because they don't want to rock no boats until their boat is rocked. And that's what they do. And
but
they
it's always been that way.
Yeah. It has, but we haven't been. But before, we paid more attention. We're not paying attention now because, again, people are looking and sounding and walking and talking like we are.
Right.
And then
they're standing in our shoes.
Exactly. And then as soon as they can get away, because my father always say, you gotta, if it's just you and another black person in the room, always watch that other black person and always watch how they do, because more than likely they want to be the emissary of what it is to be black, and they will do anything and everything that they can to push you out of that room. So in
Right.
other words, don't let anybody push you out of the room. If they're going into a meeting, you make sure you're going into these meetings,
Right.
because this is how we got this sixth meeting. This is how we have this lady right here who's going in meeting with congressmen and everything like that on the side, talking about reparations and reparations for Africa. And everybody's like, oh, cool, the diaspora, reparations, we need to, because they savaged they pillaged the continent. But nobody wants to recognize and talk about the fact that the only way that they were able to do that is because they were able to sit down with the chief leaders and all those people and do trade with them.
Yep.
That's right.
And so
That's
they can't come around. It's diabolical and insidiousness that then you want to turn around and spin the block after you have thrown these people out here, thrown our ancestors out into the wolves, and then come back to the descendants and take everything that they've gained in the guise of a smile on your face to saying, we are Africa, we are one, this is the motherland, everything should come back to Africa. You are African, but they tell Black
it's Mother
Americans
Africa,
that
and you need to recognize and respect Mother Africa.
Mother
She is your
Africa,
mother.
because
No, she's not.
she is your Mother Africa. That's what they listen. This is what people on the continent don't understand, baby. We don't live through Jim Jones. We know what a cult is.
Right.
Well, and I say that all the time. The Democrats, Willie Brown, supported Jim Jones, and they follow him. And I know they know it. I know they know it. They in my family, I can say, at the point of 1812, there was an African named Bilali Muhammad. And he arrived, he was purchased because he fought on the side of the British. And then he was purchased to fight off the British because he had that knowledge. He had a lot of knowledge. But at that time, there was not a high population. There was not, there were only a few Muslims that they purchased for that reason. And then there came Marcus Garvey, serving the same purpose. And he was connected with the KKK. He was connected with Ernest Cox, right? Ernest Cox, his father repaired ships. What a coincidence. And Marcus Garvey writes about his relationship with Ernest Cox and their common interest in going back to Africa. So it continues from there, because every ideology, eugenic ideology, Marcus Garvey came here for eugenics. He saw money in eugenics. And every ideology after that has taken on that same strategy. How can we collect money by using Africa instead of Black Americans as the goal?
You're talking about Ernest.
And they've gotten to the point.
Well, let me.
Yes,
Ernest
Cox.
Yeah, let me also understand about Ernest Cox and all those things in the American Methodist thing. This is why you have a lot of those Methodists went over to West Africa.
Yes,
a lot of those Methodists, because I know a lot of the Methodists went over there, and when you talk about trying to take over a people, the very first thing that they do is they send some religious head
Emissary.
over there.
Yep.
So when you hear a lot of things, because people don't understand, when folks like us talk about, when you first start hearing about missionaries and missionaries going to places like that, because when I heard about all those missionaries that went to Haiti in 2010, when that earthquake came, when that earthquake hit, and I thought, oh Lord, I said, oh Lord, Haiti might not make it with all those missionaries. However, I was wrong, because one thing the Haitians know how to do is they come back and they will conquer them out, because they kicked them out. Remember, they kidnapped a whole section of folks because they was over there doing all kinds of stuff to the children and everything like that. Yeah, you got to watch those missionaries that come over, but those missionaries will go over there and they will. The reason why I said that is because when I saw that, I was like, okay, I can see how there was a conversation that these two people had, because those missionaries will go over and have those conversations and talk to people and convince them while giving them certain things so they can go think like, so then they'll start thinking how they're thinking. This is how I'm thinking about this African diaspora stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you've got a whole bunch of people now that are 10 tones down about African diaspora stuff versus, hey, you, regardless of whatever, you are not African. We are not African. Do we have African ancestors? Yes, we do. But we are 500 and 600 years removed from there. We've got children whose children's children, whose children's children's children,
Mhm.
whose children's children's children were born on this land. This is what they know. They are Americans. This is who they are.
Mhm.
And they're,
Mhm.
and so when I saw that, and I didn't mean to just interrupt, but when I saw that, the first thing I thought about is, oh, here's those missionaries going over and talking to people. And then when they find the good African, when they find the good Black, they'll bring
Yeah.
them over to convince the other Blacks to think like him. But go ahead.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. And I realized that when, I think it was 2020 or 2021, when this whole environment started to be created on YouTube, they literally sounded like missionaries, and they still do.
Oh
This
yeah.
whole thing about, I heard one say this morning, and I think he's supposed to be a minister. He totally deified Africa,
Africa. Hmm.
saying that he deified race. He said that we are all Black and we need to share our Blackness. You need to share Blackness with us. Now, I can't, you can, for a generation or so, say you don't understand what Black is. But you can't live in America and
Hmm.
understand that Black is not an asset, that Black is not a classification used to separate you out.
Hmm.
But for them, they use it as an asset. And we better not complain about it in their eyes, because we need to share. You need to give more to us. It is and I noticed that they steal and then do a Jedi mind trick on you.
Exactly.
That's the scam.
Exactly. That's why they are pissed off, because it's not working. Again, we understand this, and this is what she's talking about, y'all. This racial purity in Black and white, the case of Marcus Garvey and Ernest Cox. So there is a book or a text or some papers written about it. Here's a preview of it. I guess you could purchase it if you want to or not.
Mm.
I'm not purchasing, but here it is. The Tri-County Community College ProQuest, if you all
Yeah,
are willing.
didn't Garvey and Cox get together and was heavy in trying to relocate African Americans back to Africa? If that don't
Yes.
sound the most scamish thing, and you know what I'm saying, like when you working with a known, what did he do? It was the Anglo-Saxon Clubs of America or something like that. Just sounds KK-ish, it just sounds triple KK, like
The triple Ks are a religious group. Y'all do
yeah, I know.
understand and
Yeah.
know that. They are a religious group. This is when you talk about Christian nationalism and stuff like that. They're spin-offs. All of those things are spin-off of religious groups.
Yep.
They are all spin-offs of each other. There was KKK, and then they wanted to have a kinder, gentler KKK, but it wasn't, because it was eugenics. It was what the H guy in World War II admired, eugenics. That's where his ideology came from. But in eugenics, you had Walter Plecker, who is the one who was given the authority to classify. So he classified us as colored to differentiate us from Native Americans in his writing.
Right. Yep.
And that differentiation, it just kept going. they were able to use colored, Black, Negro, African American institutionally to not deal with us as people.
Right.
And that's the problem with African American. I know that they knew at that point, well, we need a nationality to lead them to Africa. So either they accept this nationality or they don't accept anything at all.
That's hard. That's hard.
And now that people are starting to,
Wake up.
again, I hate it, but it's a wonderful thing. I hate to say it like this, and I don't want people to mishear me. Sometimes there are things that are come to us. There are paradigm shifts, and the pandemic was a paradigm shift. People started staying home and started opening their eyes and understanding and seeing the world around them, and starting to see all these things are going on. So all of this stuff started. Now we're starting to. You have a lot of black Americans that are like, hold on with this Pan-African American stuff. Hold on about lending our bodies and our minds and our soul to all of these different types of things that are not benefiting us. It's not we're not reaping any type of benefits. Yep. And when we start to open our mouths and say, hold on, we are Africa. We are, the motherland, and you need to hush, and you're being xenophobic. Because I see a lot of, I don't know if anybody in here is on TikTok, like I'm on TikTok, but I can scroll down TikTok
I see it.
And,
I don't even like going on TikTok, but I see it. I see it.
It's the word of the month.
You can scroll down TikTok now, and I'm telling you, they're having whole lives about why are FBAs talking about such and such and such, and do FBAs believe that they are Americans? Here we go. Why are Africans and Black Americans disconnected? How can we change the disconnect?
Yep.
We've never been connected.
Yeah,
they've never associated. And my great grandmother, born in 1901, was in my life. My grandmother was in my life. They lived in Harlem when Marcus Garvey was in Harlem. And there was no association. There never has been, because they have a different status. Number one, they have the UN, they have dignitaries, they have representation.
There you go.
Yes. Here it is. Nigerians, why is everyone around the world deporting and banning you? Here it is. FBAs versus Pan-Africans. FBAs want out of Africa's shadow. South Africans, throw shade from Nigerians to Black Americans. The Ghana versus Nigerian beef. Igbo tensions. FBA and pretendians, because they call the people who say
pretendians. Yeah,
they call the people who have talked about. And again, here comes that book that I'm pulling up. You can't never. I can never work it out. But anyway, it says they came before Columbus. They're telling those Black Americans that say that they can trace their roots back to the people who were here before Columbus got here. They're calling them pretendians. They're not. They're trying to be fake Indians.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. We got a live talking about who? Say it again.
Is that what they're saying? I mean, to me, it always seemed that way when I look at.
They're saying that the only people who can be Native Americans in the United States of America are the Native Americans that that you see in Native Americans now with the they're not trying. Yeah. They're saying that because there are some FBAs, they're saying that there are Native tribes that are darker skinned people that look like me, you, and blue, that they Black couldn't Seminoles. Exist.
Yeah, Cox.
Yeah, they saying that those people did not exist, and that Black people are delusional and we are pretendians. And those folks are pretendians.
We're the pretendians. See, I knew there was so much to them. They were weeding through all of our videos.
Yeah.
They were researching everything about us. And they just
I don't know if you can see that, but it just they're talking. No stuff come up. But they're talking about the goals of the AU6 region. They're talking about that. Political representative with AU structures. Everyone's they're talking about this. Now, I don't know if they're for or against it, but I'm just telling you all that this is what they're talking about.
Mm.
And
it's
a lot of these
crazy,
lives,
fam.
a lot of those lives are run by people from the continent.
Yeah.
And they get people in here, and then when you get into those lives, if you are American and you get into those lives, baby, the way that they bully you out of those lives, talking about you're pretendians, you're from Africa, and we are all Africans, and you all should. In other words, it's almost like they've got like bullies pushing people in the corner. You're gonna do what I tell you to do, and if you don't do what I tell you to do, then you're who you are is going to be. But meanwhile, they're going behind you into your government, into your locals and your state governments, and talking to people and explaining to them how they are the Africans, and that they are the ones. These Black Americans don't need any reparations because y'all been good to them. Yep. I mean, you let them out of slavery. And if they can't, look how we've come over here, and look how we have progressed. You let them out of slavery, and they've had this kind of head start. How dare they not be thinking? Don't worry about them. They're just lazy, and they don't want to work, and they don't want to have to do anything. Don't talk to them. Talk to us.
Yeah.
Right. And they're forced. See, they are playing agent, an intermediary, to deal with. First, it was the nonprofits and the foundations, especially around 2003, because there was the UN Conference on Racism in South Africa in 2003. And, they sent people there, but they sent people without a plan. They sent people who knew they weren't framing anything. They were just angry. And they encourage that anger by having them take what they call assertiveness training. Okay, so this is trained into people. If you want something, just be angry and you'll get it. Well, they'll give you money, but they won't talk issues with you. And Africa, the thing was with that, they spoke about racism in America, and they spoke about Palestine. And Bush and those people left the meeting. They refused to talk about it. They said there was no racism in the US and there was no racism over there. And they went in front of Congress and they got rid of community development. They got rid of, not that it was serving us well, but they got rid of the designation for us. And they switched to globalism. So these people were trained into this position because they no longer wanted our type of colonization on the table. They didn't want it discussed.
Why would you? Because then you'd have to delineate you'd have to see the delineation. But if you can get around and call everybody African American, and that falls up under the thing, because they're even talking about the reparations, and they're like, no, we're African Americans. I'm an American. My grandmother was here. I should get it. But can you trace your grandmother back to slavery? No, but
I felt racism the same way that and it's like, nah, you didn't.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then and here's the thing that got, because I was on the live, and I'm just going to tell you, they were talking about it, and then they were saying to those of us that were married, there was like, well, there was only what did she say? Not even I can't remember the number. I want to say she said 500K. 500,000 of slaves went over to America anyway. All the slaves went to the Caribbean and Brazil. So I don't know why y'all are complaining. And then the other girl, before I can open my mouth, she says, well, if that's the case, and if our numbers are the way they are, why are you over here begging for our money? Why are you over here begging for your resources? Why are you not down in Brazil? Why are you not down over in the Caribbean trying to get their resources and stuff like that? Because see, that's the thing.
Why aren't they in Europe, France?
Yeah. Why are you not there? That's that gaslighting stuff that they want to do. They want to make it seem like, oh, well, you're just talking. It's not I don't know why you're saying anything, because it's only this amount. But why are you here? If anything and everything is so, why are you here? Why are you here trying to steer the story around reparations to you? But you don't want to steer the story. Go ahead. There's some what?
A buffer class that doesn't deal with people. The poverty rate in Nigeria is 46%. They are nowhere at the top of the list of developed countries in Africa, because they practice poverty.
Mm-hmm.
They collect money individually, and they don't help their own people. It's a caste system.
Oh, listen, I knew that. Listen, when I had my obsession with the Real Housewives of Potomac, when that girl came on there and they were talking about, I can't think of what her name is, but she kept talking about her degrees.
Oh, I know you talk about
Wendy.
That's my dog, though. I like Wendy.
But you remember they did an episode where they were talking about her and her husband, and they were saying like she was a something, and that the only way that he was going to be able, that the only way he married her is because he was over here in America. But if he'd have been over in Nigeria, there would have been no way that they would have gotten married.
Yeah,
right.
And it's a class. It's a caste system, a class system. So whatever it was, Wendy's folks weren't in that class, and I think that's why she talks about all the degrees that she has and how smart she is and her level here and stuff like that. That's why I was thinking that she was having those kind of conversations, because again,
but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the same thing in India. You know, India has the same kind of system, the caste system. But when we're over here, we don't have that kind of class system or anything. We don't have that system. Yeah, you have the have-nots, you have the poor, you have the thing. But you could go to any Black family. You have a doctor sitting over here who went to school and became a doctor, sitting next to the guy who's a sanitation worker, and they're brothers.
And sitting next to the drug dealer and sitting next to the whoever. Yeah,
exactly.
We all one family.
We have to watch that though, because number one, their whole construct, the purpose of them being here is erasing that.
Yeah.
And I know personally from having in 2018, our whole government was voted out. Our whole government right now, the mayor and that was elected by them and his cabinet walked through our streets in 2018. By 2019, there were only 3 or 4 of us on the block.
Wow.
And where are you from?
Well, I'm from New York. I'm living in New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay.
But there's specifics about where I'm living because it's a block away from a white neighborhood.
So the rezoning and all of that is going on? Because I know that's what's going on down here.
Rezone.
They didn't have to rezone?
You know, this is a sanctuary city, among others in New Jersey. Now, when TANF came up, the year before TANF, they spiked up immigration. That's when it started. So after that, when everybody was off TANF, when I moved here, a lot of people who were working, what they call working poor, they were buying houses. I went to a seminar with young people, young women mostly, but they were sold these bad mortgages. Right, 2008.
That is happening. Yep, 2008. I was going to say, during the bubble.
Yeah.
During the housing bubble. Yeah.
They started
allowing them to buy
losing
2 and 3 houses. That's how bad it. That's how easy it was to get a house back.
That's it. You had a lot of people here who had 2 or 3 houses, but by the time they changed up the interest rate and all of that, a lot of people lost their homes. And this neighborhood, the value of our homes are always underwater, no matter what. But that was a little test, because then the Opportunity Act came around. And that's what that happened to us around 2019. They raised our taxes from $3,000 a year to over $12,000 a year between 2016 and 2020. And you could see it hit. You could see the depression in people. You could see people getting tense. And we had people die from the stress. We had people holding on that just lost their homes. And the investors from the Opportunities Act started calling us every day. Every day. And they came in now with the Opportunities Act. Not only did they get a mortgage to just strip the whole place, each house they bought, they took out all the sheetrock, they took out all the floors, they replaced the. Now, if your tax went up and your payments went up and you're already underwater, our rule was don't do anything to your house because you're not going to get anything out of it. You're underwater.
A return, right?
That's the way it works for us. Well, no, not for them, because they got all of that mortgage to rehab, and then they could write off other assets as a business. So they rehabbed all the houses around us. And then come 2020, 2021, well, we got all new neighbors, all nurses, all West Indian nurses. This is why when I looked at you, you confirmed exactly what I was thinking, Pam.
And that's the thing about. Go ahead.
Yeah, then it was. Things started like they would move and they'd be hostile. You say hello to somebody and they say, well, I'm not gonna be your friend. Or that's the worst thing, is that they would move. I thought it was just me, move part of their property onto your property.
Say what?
To move over the lines, because in the Caribbean, they have squatters laws. If you move into somebody's house, say they move someplace for about 5 or 10 years, you move into their house and pay their taxes, that's over. You got it.
It's theirs now.
Listen, that's the same thing in Alabama. That's the same thing in Georgia. That's why
Florida too. Well, they got rid of it here in Florida.
Yeah, if you have property, it's your best. Because I had a coworker, she had a lot of property down in Southwest Alabama. She'd have to go on her little what do you call those things, 4-wheeler, and go around. And she said that she'd go around her property and then she'd see a trailer erected. And she said I had to burn the trailer down. And I was like, because she says no.
That's why all those trailers are burned down there.
She says no. She says because what happens is what they do is that she said that's why she had to make sure like there's not a lot of road access on her land. Yeah. She said because what they'll do is they'll bring in a trailer, they'll sit there, and then they'll squat. Then they'll go to the office or whatever, fill out whatever paperwork, tell them where they're squatting in their land or doing whatever. And you, like, if you're sitting on 200 acres and you're on the other side of the 200 acres, and if you don't go check your land on the other side, before you know it, you've lost 10 acres from some people who've squatted and put a trailer on there. And what was happening what was happening is there was an I-85 to make it because there's the Interstate 85 that goes through, and they were going to do 285. They were going to do a loop around where I live at. And so people were scrambling to get the land over there. And particularly in Alabama, most people who moved to Detroit came from Alabama or came from southwest Alabama, they had land over there, but because it was their grandmother's land and they probably didn't pay the taxes or didn't come down, if they were paying the taxes, they didn't come tend to it. They come back and realize they don't have any land because all of the 8.5 by 11 folks realized what was going on and they wanted to make that money. So they were going over there, hiring people to squat on these lands to get this money. So I know exactly what you're talking about, because they were going to move the land and they were going to, you know, and it's going to be inconspicuous. It'd be like blue. They'll move like a box or something and move it back. Or if they'll get a new fence, they'll push the fence back over where it's like maybe 3, 4, 5 inches on your yard, on your land and stuff. And if you don't say anything, they'll go back to the tax assessor's office and then add those little extra inches or something. It's a whole little thing. But again, people don't pay attention to all of those types of things that happen. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know exactly what you're talking about, because I know clearly people in where I live at, where they're down literally fighting in the middle of the street because people are doing that kind of mess. Or if you know how you have the back part of your home, they're putting stuff back there on your back part of your home and then
like
saying, yeah, and it's a whole lot of stuff people are doing, and then they're always checking. They're always checking for people who have passed away, because when my father passed away, baby, they was checking. Because I guess they didn't realize my mother was still living, honey. They was checking and going, and I remember the assessor's office had sent my mother a letter about, oh, you're getting ready to do something. They sent her, and we had to go down there and figure out. It's like, oh, they're checking to see who's passed away. And particularly if you're a veteran, they're checking to see who's passed away, because they're trying so hard to try to get your land and get your stuff. So you got to get things together. So Alicia, I appreciate you being up here. I'm going to drop you down because I have another person that's coming up. Are you active on YouTube or anything like that we can shout out your channel, or no?
No, not yet, but I'm working on it.
Go ahead. Just you don't need no special equipment. You don't need anything. You just need to. You don't even need a mic. You just need to turn your computer on and talk. So I encourage you to do that, because that's all I did.
Thank you for that encouragement.
You're welcome.
Great talking to you, Pam and Blue.
Well, she left. Who was that? Victoria, you left? You didn't want to come up?
Yeah, that's crazy, Pam. Doing that. All the who was that who said that we don't matter? Our spending and like to do all of those. You know what
we were thinking alike, because I'm scrolling right back up looking for that. I'm looking for that particular.
Like to do all of those tactics, but our money, our stuff that don't matter. Like that don't even make sense, man. It's crazy. I think they've done so much to where they now have to, like you said, bring that buffer class in to create more chaos, because I don't think it's anything else that they can like do to Black Americans. Like they've done it, shy from just going on an extermination spree. And even I think they tried that, you know, they've tried that too, but
see, we know how to take them out just like they know how to take us out.
Yeah. And we're too embedded. We're both of us. We like ticks, you know, in this land. I'm embedded, you're embedded. So what you do, I can come back with equal force the same way. Yeah. Or let me say not equal, significant force. Let me say that because of the population barrier. But yeah, it's I always looked at Black Americans like the redheaded stepchildren. But not stepchildren. I would say like the child that America had out of wedlock, right? That's how I look at Black Americans. We are the kids that America had out of wedlock, and it's like, oh man, I got a kid, you know what I mean? But they want to go marry this person and have babies with these set of people over here. But end all be all, we still here, baby. End of the day,
and didn't realize how. Yeah, the child that we had, but the daddy died, and didn't realize that the daddy had left a certain amount of money, but they can't tap into it. So they figure out, well, let me figure out how to get rid of these kids or figure out how to do anything. But these children are more resilient than you think they are, because Jim Crow, if slavery didn't break them, Jim Crow certainly was going to break them. And then you tell them, go away from me and have your own land, have your own towns, have all your own stuff. And then when you see them striving, then if you didn't burn them down, you flooded them with water.
Right.
And then here you go, when you have the civil rights movement and you have all this stuff like this going on, civil rights, you figure, oh, well, let me offer them, we're going to give them this civil rights. We're going to sign this bill. We're going to do whatever. However, we're going to give them the 503 status, but you can't do any political talk in church anymore. So now you've broken down an avenue of where they were going. So now, then rap music started. Then you started hearing people talk about changes and stuff like that in the 90s, because people talk about the 90s. You understand the correlation to conscious rap music and to stuff that y'all saw on the TV in the 1900s. I mean, the 1900s.
You can say 1990s.
Thank you.
1990s.
But you see the difference that you saw, the positive images of Black folks and things like that, and how that was causing the society to change. You saw the enrollment of college go up because people were watching a different world. You saw people wanting to be doctors and lawyers because they saw the Huxtables and stuff like that. You saw people wanting to be teachers and principals and own hotels and stuff like that from watching the Jamie Foxx show, from watching the Steve Harvey show. You saw a whole lot. You just saw a whole lot of different things, right? But that had to stop. So you had to start introducing gangster rap. It had to stop because the companies that were running rap music, you had to try to buy them out. No. You all can't be owning and having this genre and making all this money.
Here come Time Warner. Here come Warner Brothers. Here come all of these. Yep.
They wouldn't even play videos. They would even play videos by Black artists on MTV, which then brought us BET. Then BET got more successful than MTV. Then they had to buy it up. So now, when you look at rap music, you saw a downturn because then all of a sudden everything was about individualism, materialism, and who was going to pew pew this and pew pew that.
Right.
But it was still driving culture. But you started seeing a lot of people being arrested. You started seeing a thing. You had the 94 crime bill come through.
That might be the worst thing. The besides the Iran-Contra drugs situation of the 70s and 80s, that 94 crime bill really did some work.
Did a number. Everybody know Uncle Leo over there was boosting stakes and got caught a couple of times boosting stakes. Then the third time he boosted stakes, he's got life in prison.
Yep.
It don't make no sense. People out here selling crack, and now I don't want people to mishear me, because I believe if you break the law, you break the law, and there are consequences for you breaking the law. But here you have crack, which is 1/8 cocaine, 6/8 baking soda, and something else.
Whoa, hold on, Pam. What you know about the? Not the recipe. Don't give them the recipe, Pam.
But I'm just saying, you're getting 15-year sentence for 3 and 4 rocks of crack, but you only got 5 years when you've got enough cocaine to knock down the state of New Jersey. But you see the disparagement. That crime bill did a number, because you were already reeling from the fact that you had the folks sitting around here whose parents and things like that are addicts.
Right. Yeah.
Now you're dealing with long drug sentences.
Non-violent too. Like it's not like these people were violent. They just had maybe some drugs for personal use on them, but like you said, they doing football numbers.
Exactly.
Football numbers. That's crazy.
But again, Trevor that annihilated his whole family. And he gets a sentence 10 years plus probation.
Yep.
And then, it's a whole different, there's a whole lot of different things. And like I said, these are things that we as Black Americans have had to gone through and go through, because if the heat get hot, African immigrants are going to pack up, put the
And go back
dashikis
home.
on and go
Yep.
back home.
Yep. And leave us holding the bag.
Anything get hot. So if they turn around and mess up because they've been walking around here with these candles and drop that candle somewhere, and the block starts to burn up, they'll pack everything up and they'll go back home, or go someplace else. All of a sudden, it's going to be beautiful to be down in Mexico.
Right. Gonna be telling the Mexicans to come home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying to you all is this, and this is what I'm talking about. And thanks everybody that came up, because we lost a person. I was getting ready to put her up and she's went down, but that's okay. But all I'm saying to you all, it is very important for you to understand. Don't let anybody tell you that you are not who you are.
Yep.
When they come to you talking about Africa and the motherland, that's fine for you. And I'm not disrespecting that, but that's not where I'm from. I'm sorry. My grandmother's grandmother, and then her grandmother. All I know is this right here.
Mm-hmm.
So talking about from South Carolina to Georgia to Florida, that's all I know. That's where my peoples are from. So when I tell you where my people's from, that's where we're from, and that's who I am. I am a Black American.
There you go. That's it. Black American. From the
Good,
top to
bad,
the
or
bottom.
yeah, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever it is you think about this nation and this thing, but this is where I'm from. I can't go back. I've never been to Africa.
Right.
I can't go back to something that I've never been. No one's talked about that. I can't do that. It's good for you if you can leave and make your family better and stuff like that. More power to you. But all I'm saying to this, don't come here trying to make it harder for us. When if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be able to come in.
Right.
And I don't know how it is for you now, since they've deemed Africa as a shithole continent.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh man.
And the other thing I tell you, it is very important. It is not a flex for you all to be running around here talking about that you don't pay attention to politics. That is not a flex. And not only should you be paying attention to the federal level, but you need to be paying attention to your state and your local level, because they look for you not to pay any attention.
Yep. Please speak on that, Pam, because I talk about that. I said, man, y'all love to talk about Trump. Trump is not the person you need to worry about.
No.
You need to worry about your mayor. You need to worry about your state representative. You need to worry about the city council. You need to worry about, that's the reason why your kid ain't learning in school. It ain't Trump. It ain't Trump. That's the reason why your property tax went up. It ain't Trump.
Right.
States regulate a lot on their own. Cities regulate a lot of stuff on their own. That's what you need to be worried about.
They regulate
Trump can only do so much.
Yeah.
Some states don't even go by federal law. They don't even care about what the feds say.
Yeah. And they have a right in the Constitution to do that, because there's only certain things that the feds can move, and then there's other things that the states have the right to move on their own. So y'all have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. Pay attention who's moving into your neighborhood.
Yep. Yeah.
Pay attention, because I'll walk around and look, and because my neighbors are strong. We've been here since 2020, not 2020, right. Excuse me, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had just like a handful of people leaving and moving in, but you pay attention to who's leaving and moving in. Pay attention. Pay attention to, if you're owning homes, pay attention to the what the tax assessor is valuing your home.
Mm-hmm.
Because your home should not be lower than what you're paying for it, or what you've paid for it. And if you live in a neighborhood, particularly that has anywhere from like 40% black folks, and I'm just talking about where I live at, they start trying to devaluate your devalue your area. And when they do that, they don't want to have people come in fixing the roads or do anything. They don't want to have to be, they don't want to do all of that. So I need for you all to pay attention to those things. Also, if you're interested in buying home, get with people who can assist you with that.
Right.
Because they are discouraging home ownership for renting. So that way that you're paying money for all of this rent, but you don't have, you're not getting any benefits from it.
Yeah, that was a big talking point in that I don't want to call it, it's not a convention, but what they do in they're in France, I want to say, the World Economic Forum. That's a big thing. They want everybody to be renters, and they want that way that top 1%, they will own everything, and you have to come to them. That you don't want that. You do not want that. That means now they have total control, and they're gonna try to make it seem like, oh, it's all the subscription services and all of that. You don't own the movie you watch no more. Think about that.
You know,
you don't own the movie you watch no more.
Yeah, because you notice how
it starts.
DVD players and Blu-ray players and stuff, because they look at you and tell you, oh, it's for your convenience, but you don't own it.
That's where it starts. And I know that's a small thing to say, but I'm saying that because that's where it starts at. They sell you on convenience. Oh, well, renting it'll be easier. Oh, don't worry, just get an Uber. You don't need a car, just get an Uber. Matter of fact, we got Ubers without people that that drive autonomously. Right. Don't even have a driver. Just do that. Like, nah, man.
All that
they're making it harder and harder to work on your car. I don't know if people know about that. You get a car now, you own this car, but you can't fix it because they done put, you gotta have specialized tools and this, that, and the third. They moved this over here. I'm telling you this because I go and working on new cars. It's like, what is this? Why is this in this position to where I gotta have this, that, and the third just to be able to pull my alternator out?
You got or just to even change the filter, a filter or anything, you got to move a whole hose. I looked in the thing. I was like, you used to be able to just take this, move that filter, and flick it back and keep going. No, there's a whole hose that has to be moved, and you can't move it unless you have that certain type of thing. But then you can't do that because it's connected to the computer, and if you move it, the computer is going to say that you're certain your engine.
And now you got to take it to the dealership to get the computer reset and all types, or whatever you're working on would be easy fix, but guess what? It's behind the engine block. Little $5 module that all you got to do is pull out and put in. It's behind the engine block.
You can't get to it.
Can't get to it.
Yeah, they sell you on that convenience. And also because, I don't know if you all hear the horror stories of the people who I know that rent, to the point that they had to, because what was happening with the renters, when you rent, you don't own. And when you don't own, the people who do own have keys. And because they have a right to have a key to your home. And then if you're not reading your lease correctly, you miss that little part about them being able to come into your home when they want to. And that's the problems that people were having. You have people coming into your home. Here you are trying to get ready for bed, and somebody is with the key is walking in. We came because we've got to check such and such and such. You need to do that. No. Oh, and then they don't even tell you. Yeah. When I lived in apartments, they had to tell you when if they were going to spray your apartment. There was a note on the door. We're going to be spraying your apartment at 10 o'clock in the morning on such and such and such date.
Move so I know out of the driveway or this, that, and the third.
Do all of this stuff. They don't. I
have a rental property, and when I had tenants in it, that's what I would have to do. Like, give them the heads up. I never. Even though in the in the lease or whatever, it does say that I am allowed, because it's still my home, to come over and do checks. I would never just walk in on somebody because it's my house or I got the key to them. But I rent. You know what I'm saying? Like that's weird.
That's the big reason I don't do Airbnbs, because they were talking about how people were having cameras all through the place. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you think about it, they would have every right to have cameras. They have every right to do
that. You got cameras. I'm going out. Look, I'm going to the hotel and taking my chances with the fool trying to put something under the door to move my thing.
To move your thing.
because but all I'm saying is pay attention. If you want to own homes, don't let anybody scare you with that, because if you could pay $2,500 a month for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment, where I live at, we have garden homes that are much cheaper than that. They'd be 3 bedrooms with 2 baths, and it'd be 1,200 square feet. And if you're just you and your baby, you'll be
your starter
fine.
home. Yes, go find you a little fixer upper, get it, fix it, take time. You know what I'm saying?
Because I need, and I'm talking to my young Black folks. I need you to all understand that this is what the young white children are doing. Their mothers and fathers are giving them $3,500 or $45, or because their mothers and fathers have paid for their home, they're putting a small little mortgage up against their homes, and they're giving it to their children to start
take the equity out. Go here.
And they're buying these little pickup, because you'll see it. If you don't believe me, all you have to do is watch YouTube, go through the shorts, how people are buying. I just bought this dilapidated home and this, and I'm fixing it up. And they go through the whole progress of how they're fixing it up. Y'all can do this. Y'all can.
Or I will give you, I won't say one better, but I will say this. Land is not as expensive as what you may think. And me and Pam, we down here in the South. I see land for sale signs up and down the highway. Go see about buying. I don't care if you just buy it and hold on to it. Buy that piece of land, hold on to it, save you up some money, throw a like Pam said, throw a trailer on there just to get something going. That now will start building equity. That is money that is going into your pocket. You can portion a piece off, sell it to here, sell it to a family member, sell it to a cut. It don't matter. Do stuff like that. It's a lot of things that we can do to get ahead. It's just we're not taught to do these things. We're not given the opportunity. We're not given the access or shown the access to go and do it. Go do those things. Go do it.
You want to know why? It's because, again, and I will say that, and I'll just say this: you all are spending too much time getting upset and getting emotional about certain things that are going on. Sit back, sit down. You can't fight everybody, and stop trying to fight. Stop running up in houses trying to fight Jamal because he going with Shaquita. Stop all of that.
I know Shaquita.
I do too. She's a lovely girl, but she will not let folks' boyfriends go. But y'all need to stop. Young men, discipline is a huge reason why you don't have as much wealth as you can. Because you're so busy being satiated down below instead of this right here.
Yeah.
And like Blue said, them $800, $900 that you did to buy them Timberlands or to go buy that Hermes belt and all this other stuff. This $15,000 that you were flossing to buy this girl this purse. $15,000 could almost get you 10 acres of land. Get you about 10 acres of land.
Yep.
With enough money to go find you a little old dilapidated trailer, or like this one little boy on thing, he bought 5 acres and he's building he has a school bus and he is building that school bus out.
Seen that. I was gonna say, if you don't want to do a trailer, go get some of those storage units. Boom, boom, boom. Them storage units don't cost nothing.
And people are using them as Airbnbs. You can go right up here to Lowe's and Home Depot. They got the one that's got the upstairs and the downstairs. It's like $2,800.
They got the barns.
Yes.
They come out and do the barn houses that don't cost, you know what I'm saying? And because all it is, it's 4 walls and a roof for the most part, and then you just put in on the inside how you want what you want. Yeah,
you don't have to. Yeah, you stop thinking that the American dream is living in this high rise or having this mansion out in Los Angeles. You better do what you need to do down here in the rural areas of Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi and all these places. See, they don't want you to come out there. They don't want you to come out there because then the code is going to be cracked about how they're living for cheap, but they're getting the maximum benefits out of that.
Yep.
Stop thinking that you got to live in the heart of Atlanta. You got to be in New York City. You got to be in Chicago. You got to be in Dallas. You got to be in these big cities. You don't. Because there's a highway now You can live in Podunk, Georgia, and get
Right.
on 75 and get back to
And get
Atlanta
there.
as quick as you may.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, you in cities you driving an hour anyway to get somewhere, 45 minutes to an hour anyway. What's an hour away from the town? You know what I'm saying? Living out in a rural area and it take an hour to get there. That's the same amount of time anyway.
And live in coalition, y'all. And let me just explain to you about this thing. It's there are certain times and periods about individualism that is important, but things like that I'm talking about right now, you may have 15,000 and you can buy 10 acres, but you and your cousin Vern and so and so and so and so, y'all can put 10,000 together and you all can buy 200. You can buy 200 acres of land.
Yeah.
You can build houses for your family. You can section part of that land off and sell it to a developer so they can build houses and stuff like that. So you can make money from all of that. There's so many things. You got to start thinking in coalition. It don't have to be NAACP coalition. It could be you and 7 people. Boom, there y'all go. There could be another you and 7 other people. Boom, there y'all go. Well, Pam, we might not get along. That's what contracts are for.
Yep.
Y'all know how to follow the Constitution.
Right. And y'all get along. Y'all get along.
You'll get along. I mean, that's all you got to do. You just, if you feel like so and so, he might try to skip out with the money. Well, he's not in charge of the bank account.
Right.
His name don't go on there. He can be the spokesperson for something, but he can't handle the money.
And he just get a payout.
That's all he does.
Or can't nobody, or it takes all 5 signatures for there to be some type of money trend, you know.
Everybody got to sign.
Yep.
All I'm saying to you all is this. Your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, they worked very hard to make sure that at least where we are right now, take advantage of it. Don't let anybody that's trying to sell you on something that's kind of cheating you out your spot. You need to sidestep them.
Yeah, don't let them trick you out your spot.
Don't let them trick you out your spot.
I think,
so these people that are telling you right now. These people are telling you, oh, you shouldn't be owning no homes. You ain't but 20 years old, baby. You don't need to. Don't let nobody trick you out your spot because there's 20-year-old 8.5 by 11s that are buying fixer-ups. So go buy you a fixer-upper.
Yeah, I bought my first home at 21.
I don't have any skills, Pam. You have a mouth. I don't have a lot of skills either. But I know folks that know how to fix stuff.
Yeah.
So if that means that I got to cook something for something or do something strange for a little change, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hey, look, I mean, you're kidding, but you know, a lot of people who claim to not have skills, male or female, resort to certain things. Take that money and put, you know what I'm saying? Because women, you're not going to be able to do certain things for change for that long of amount of time. I hate to say it. Men, if you're out here, you know, peddling pharmaceuticals on the street, you're probably not going to be able to do that for a long time. Take that money, invest it into something that can benefit you. That's all I will say. Because I don't look down on people who do that, you know, but make sure your return, you maximize your return. That's all I say. Just make sure you maximize your return. And to me, maximize your return will be taking that money, buying land, buying homes, starting a business, whatever. Since you don't have any skills, start a business. If you're in here talking to, you're a people person anyway, right? You're a people person anyway. Talk to some of these people who you're serving. See what they got going on. Hey, man, I'm thinking about transferring over to this, you know, this other side of the tracks. Can you help me out? Somebody will be able to help you out. So,
why you call a man messy? That's Jesse Messy Jackson. Does he have Alzheimer's? Because I don't think Jesse is.
We got to watch Jesse. Jesse gave us the African American term, and he pushed hard for it. The Push Coalition, the Rainbow. You know, he is the architect of
what we got going on today.
What we got going on today. So, we can throw the bag over there, Jesse. You know what I'm saying? Even though I guess, like you said, he might have Alzheimer's or whatever, he can't fix it or speak on the issue anymore because his mind ain't all the way there. But yeah, go. A lot of those leaders you know, and I wasn't around for that time. I can't really speak to it, but I don't know if they were just surviving. I don't know if they, you know, somebody put a battery in their back and they was getting kickbacks or what. I don't know.
That's what
But
they say about Jesse. I don't know.
right.
All I know is that he thought that if they had a coalition, he thought that everybody was going to be thinking on one accord, and he was going to lead this whole coalition, this rainbow push, this coalition.
Mhm.
And it ended up that all the people that you wanted to coalesce with, I don't know if that's the right word.
That's it. Coalesce.
They came in just enough so they can see what you got and where you got certain things, and then they walked away from you and did their own thing. And then before you know it, they have surpassed your people because, you know, you've given them the keys to the city. You invited them to the cookout. They brought they brought the cups and the plates,
Right. No
and
food.
left with all the food.
Right. Yep. Or they brought Publix chicken or something like that. didn't really. Yeah. Yeah. Now they treat us like the canary in the coal mine, though. That's exactly how they treat us. Watch them do it. Oh, they didn't die. Oh, okay, we're good. Let's go in here. You know what I'm saying? That's how they treat Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, them trying to come together. Oh, we better if we come together. They're white, they're racist. If we all come together, but not knowing that they want to be like the white racists. They want to be like the oppressor. They want what the oppressor got. So yeah, they come, the kumbaya, do all that until it's to the point to where they can in the oppressor's ear and push you out of the way. That's exactly what's happening.
And they'll let them do it and then turn around and say, oh, we're the better Blacks. See, we're the African Americans now. So anyway, that's all I got, Blue. You got anything else? Because I didn't realize we was on here 3 hours.
3 hours. 3.5 hours. No, that's good talking, Pam. That's good. I'm glad that you did this. And that's why I wanted to, you know, because I've been seeing the same thing you've been seeing online, the online discourse about the FBAs versus, you know, or whatever term they want to use, FBA, ADOS, Black American versus the
African
Africans and the diaspora and all that stuff like that. And I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. I wish we had somebody on the opposite end to come up, you know, because I don't want to just be speaking on, you know,
right
on a soapbox to the choir. I would like to have somebody come in and speak for that opposite side. But no, this needs to be had. This is a talk. This should be a talk in most Black American homes, especially if they have business going on, you know,
right.
even the regular 9-to-5er. This should be a talk and not a talk of, it shouldn't be hateful, because I don't want this talk to end up and turn hateful, because that's not what this talk is about.
It's not about being hateful. It's about you being aware of what's going on and being aware that there are groups of people that are trying to get you out of your money. They want your money. And so they're smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place. I'm sorry.
Backstabbers.
But people are smiling in your face and they're talking about policy and asking you to believe and to buy into these policies, but yet there is no representation of you. You've got Miss Blessings. I can't think of her last name. Somebody had written it in here, but you have her being the
sole representative of everything.
The sole representative of everybody over here, but she is an immigrant. Yeah. But she's representing your stuff as if she is, because she says, I am an African American. You know, my mother, you know, I was born here. I'm an African American. But then when you start talking about all this other stuff, oh, we don't want to talk about slavery and Jim Crow and all of that. That's not necessary. We don't need to talk about that. We need to talk about the future. We need to talk about Africa. We need to talk about everybody.
You know what this reminds me of, Pam? This reminds me of what it was, Red Fear, with the Russians coming over, implanting themselves into white America and trying to usurp the government from within. That's what this is, the same situation. I just really thought about it back then.
Like, you know, during the Cold War,
the communists, you know, the communist situation. Yeah, that's exactly kind of the same play. And you know where they get a lot of support from? If you think about it, Africans. What did
Russia.
Burkina Faso just do?
Yeah, didn't they sign something to do with Russia?
Yeah. And I didn't
Because
even know they
Russia,
did it.
because Russia always claims, we're the only country that didn't enslave people.
Right.
And
Right.
that's their move in. Because again,
Mhm.
as I say to all of you Africans, people are really trying before you know it, while you sending people out in the diaspora, you're gonna be the diaspora, because the Chinese, the Russians, all them people are gonna come down there and they're gonna try to take over.
They did it to Egypt. They did it to Morocco. They did it to, what is that up there? Libya.
Madagascar.
Yeah.
They're gonna
They
throw you out. You think all this conflict that you all are getting, you've got the what is that is it the Congo or the Sudan with the Arabs coming in and trying to thing and something like that, all of this stuff, and then y'all are fighting each other. Did they ever find those kids, those girls that they kidnapped from that Nigerian school years
I don't think
ago?
they did. I don't think they did. That was what was that group?
Boko Haram.
Boko Haram. Yep, that's them.
Did they? Because it just hit me. Y'all got y'all need to get together with y'all so tribal, get together, come up with some kind of tribal what you call it, because here y'all go trying to take our money and then y'all about to lose y'all land.
Yeah, maybe that's why they coming this way. They know they don't have, they can't fight. I don't even want to get it. Let's wrap it up, Pam, because we'll go a whole nother hour.
All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, what are you all thinking about what's going on? The information and the enlightenment that's happened since the Essence Fest. Don't get caught down or bogged down with people trying to tell you, oh, that's intellectually lazy. There are things going on. You feel it in your spirit, but you just can't put anything to it. I hope that Blue and I were able to give you some concrete information about putting some things to stuff so that you can see it. But I do encourage you to get out and read some books, read the newspaper online if they still have it. Watch some of these TikToks, get some terms, look them up, do all of these things, do this research for yourself so you know what's going on. Again, you're part of the 6th region. You have a right to go over there and figure out what's going on and call a spade a spade. If you go in there, some of y'all should join just to see what's going on. You can spend $9 for a month and go through their archives and their research to see what's going on. All I'm saying is do that. For the young people, I don't care if you're married, I don't care if you're single, you need to be thinking about buying versus renting. And also too, y'all love to commingle with each other together. Y'all like your girlfriends or your friends and stuff like that. Buy stuff together.
A lot of cohabitation. Go in. If you're
gonna
cohabitate.
I'm not talking about on a romantic tip either.
Yeah, I know. If you're gonna cohabitate, take it all the way. Let's take it all the way. Me and my girlfriends bought 2 duplexes or something or whatever. Yeah.
And then
I stay in one, she stay in one, the other one stay in one, and we rent out this 4th one. Yeah, you could do you all can do it. Don't let anybody trick you out of your spot. Find out information, ask questions, do whatever. Because again, people are coming in and they're getting benefits off of the stuff that you do, and then they're laughing in your face, telling you how much they can't stand you and calling you names and stuff like that. But they wouldn't be here if it wasn't. They need to put some respect on your name. All right, people. I think I said this. We do this every week. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye. Get my outro out here, child.